It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out! Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing A-Peak Tennis and A-Peak Coach. Everything tennis players need to become mentally tough, both on and off the court. And everything coaches need to help players reach their full potential. Because we are extremely confident that A-Peak does work, we are offering free 1-month split testing to validate A-Peak's effectiveness when implemented correctly. With split testing, we'll have half your players use A-Peak, while the other half does not. Then, we'll conduct pre- and post-testing to demonstrate A-Peak's value. To take advantage of this offer, email us at apeak@apeak.com.
Tennis. What does it mean to you? Everything? Us too. For fun, for health, for life. Tennis Point. Get the gear your game needs.
So at Oklahoma State, we've always prided ourselves on having one of the premier tennis facilities in the country. One of the aspects that wasn't living up to that was our indoor lighting, and so we partnered with Sports Interiors, who had the reputation of being the best in the business, and they were the easiest for us to work with. Dan and his group came in from day one and gave us a plan that would allow us to have the best lighting. And with us hosting the 2020 NCAA National Championships, that's what we wanted. We wanted to showcase our tennis facility as being one of the best in the country and being a venue that would allow us to host the best championship possible.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go.
Tennis can change the world.
Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out! Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
This is the match of the weekend, the moment we have been waiting for.
You know, we fight, we compete, we battle.
Our team has really worked hard. We're thrilled to be in the finals.
The sophomore sends this Georgia team back to the National Indoor Final.
This Georgia team, so tough, so gritty.
The turnaround and the commitment that these guys have shown has been absolutely outstanding.
North Carolina to their ninth consecutive National Indoor Finals. North Carolina versus Georgia, really good. That, my friends, is as fun as it is. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Day 4, the grand finale of these 2023 ITA Division I National Women's Team Indoor Championships. Alex Gruskin joined with the crew who has joined me all weekend long. Of course, you see Perry Shinen, my co-host on the broadcast each and every day, and of course, our returning champion of champions, John J. Parsons, who helped me break down our final heading into the day. What a phenomenal match we have to end this 2023 National Indoors. It will be three-time defending champion and a team that has reached this National Indoor Final now for a record 9 consecutive years in the University of North Carolina. Of course, they're taking on the last team not named Carolina to win this event, the team that won it the last time we were here in Seattle in 2019. Of course, I'm referring to the University of Georgia. With all of that said, what we want to do for all of you college tennis fans here on today's preview show is set the scene for the final. How did these two teams get there? What will the match calculus be in today's matchup? What history can we turn to when trying to preview today? We'll have all of that analysis and so much more. But first, let's just get to it. And I'll start with you, Perry Shinen. It's been 3 days of phenomenal action. All of that said, it feels right that these are our two teams to finish, does it not?
Absolutely. And I mean, setting the stage as you did, these two teams have been in this position before. So what a privilege for us to really see them return to this position. Now, underdog Iowa State reaching the Final Four of this event. So they were almost kind of cracking in, becoming a new face. But hey, Blue Bloods, we love to see it.
Yeah, it's the return of the powerhouses, certainly. And let's be clear, the last time Georgia made the National Indoor Final, again, 2019, who did they beat in that final? It was North Carolina, a 4-3 thriller decided by two of the top 5 players in the country, Katarina Jokic knocking out McKenna Jones to clinch that victory. But of course, Jay, as we look at this final, there's already been some 2023 history between these two teams, has there not?
There has. Just a few weeks ago, Georgia goes on the road to North Carolina in Chapel Hill, plays them in a very close match, ultimately 5-2, in a match that saw a lot of momentum swings. Georgia made a really good push in a lot of second sets. They were up big in doubles, lost that lead. So look, these two teams know each other very well. They usually play each other every year. Not only do they go back to indoors, but just this, a few weeks ago, we've seen a lot of the same matchups we'll see today. The big difference here being on a neutral site how does that favor Georgia versus being at home in Chapel Hill?
Very, very well said. Certainly, again, for this North Carolina team. Again, they'll be ready for any challenge. They've seen it each of the last 9 seasons. A fact I promise we want to reflect on here on today's show. But of course, we'll get back to our final. We'll talk match calculus. We'll run through all the anticipated individual matchups, the biggest lineup questions. But first, we got to recap how we got here yesterday. And of course, if you're looking for recaps of the round of 16 of the quarterfinal rounds, go check out the Great Shot podcast feed. What we're going to focus on here today is yesterday's semifinal action. And let's start with the University of Georgia. 4-2 winners yesterday over Iowa State. Jay, it was a match that Georgia was never really in doubt. It did feel like they were constantly leading, and they held on to that lead from start to finish. That said, Iowa State certainly did make a push, and I'm curious what impressed you most about the Bulldogs' performance yesterday. Again, a 4-2 win over the Cyclones.
Well, I think it was fending off that push, right? I think Iowa State started that match about 45 minutes too late, right? They kind of came out a little slow in doubles, something we hadn't seen earlier in this tournament, and Georgia was able to fend off that mid first set, late second set push that Iowa State was attempting to make. It felt like the final push that the Cyclones were looking to make. Georgia held steady and held on to the leads that they needed to get those 3 singles victories.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And in particular, at that number 1 doubles spot, Jermina Grant, of course, referred affectionately to as Gigi by her teammates, her and Mai Narundorn, the all-sophomore duo. They took it to that number 1 team of Iowa State, an Iowa State team that had been 2-0 leading up to that match over the course of the weekend. And again, Perry, it did feel like even when Iowa State made their push, Georgia just kind of lingered everywhere. And I'm curious, if you were to point to a top performer for the Bulldogs yesterday, who would you look at?
Gigi. I loved the way that Gigi played yesterday. And I also just think the way that the Georgia Bulldogs were able to anchor down, as you said, 4 acts in a college tennis match. 3rd act, really, Iowa State started to fight back. We started to see that Cyclone fight that we've seen all weekend. Georgia, no problem. That was not a problem. They really anchored down. They stayed aggressive. And really, they just stayed committed to their game plan that had gotten them to that point.
And, you know, what was most shocking yesterday after the quarterfinal round where Mel Riasco played the number 4 single spot, Meg Kowalski played up at 3. Georgia switched back to their original submitted lineup. Riasco was back at that 3 spot. And, you know, again, to your point about the Iowa State push, Kadlikova beat Kowalski 0-0 at the number 4 single spot. And we'll have to talk about Miska, big picture. I think she's pretty clearly right now the pick for the all-tournament team number 4 single spot. And again, the athleticism she brings there, so impressive. Jay, you know, what did you see from that Iowa State team yesterday? And ultimately, what do you think was the difference between them and Georgia?
Well, I think, you know, I mean, just a note on Miska. I mean, just an incredible performance from her. The athleticism, the defense, you know, the forehand that she hits deep in the court, pushing Meg Kowalski back so that Meg's defensive balls weren't landing as deep as they had in her previous matches. Certainly, I think a heavy favorite for that number 4 position. I think ultimately on the, you know, Iowa State side, they come away feeling excellent about this tournament, right? They've had an excellent last month going to kickoff weekend, taking down some of the top ranked teams in the country in UCLA, in Miami, and coming here and proving that they belong at this national stage. Ultimately, ran out a little bit of gas there at the end. It felt somewhat analogous to what we saw this Oklahoma team last year in 2022, making the final, having a push, but then ultimately not able to close the deal. I think this Georgia team feels really good about being able to fend off Iowa State.
So then heading into the final, let me go right back to you, Jay, and I want your thoughts on this, Perry, as well. Again, starting with you, who do you think, Jay, is playing best in this Georgia lineup heading into the final? You're looking at these spots, right? Obviously, they've got the tests of tests now, 7 top 30 players on this North Carolina lineup. Where are you feeling most confident if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan heading into today's final?
Well, I think it starts with Dasha Vidmanova at number 2 singles, right? She hasn't dropped a set here at indoors. She beat Reese Brantmeyer in Chapel Hill the last time these 2 teams played. And when you look at that Iowa State team, right, the positions that they really like in singles, 2 and 4. And what did Georgia do yesterday? They took number 2 singles in straight sets. So Dasha Vidmanova, you look to her, she's going to be hopefully a point on the board for Georgia and also a point that gets off quick. She's won all her matches, like I said, in straight sets, she to me is so far the standout performer on the Georgia team, because ultimately you're looking for 4 points. If you have a point that you feel is a lock, that's an MVP point.
Perry, same question.
Same answer. I mean, Vidmanova, right? I mean, she is the tweet of this tournament. I feel like, especially at the number 2 spot, can we take a moment to realize she's playing number 2? Any player in the country at the 2 spot who's going to face her, that's crazy. Also, Vidmanova has the height. She has the depth. She has the advantages that a shorter player has at her height. She can move. She can mix up the pace. She almost sometimes plays like she doesn't have the power that she so clearly has from the baseline. So Dasha Vidmanova really just establishing herself as one of the top all-around players this tournament.
Very well said. For me, I'd probably look at the doubles. I mean, they're 3-0 in doubles this weekend. And in particular, Narundor and Grant, the contrast of styles between the two of them, but how aggressive Grant has been moving forward at the net and coaching and just being unpredictable. I think they've played with great effort at that number 1 spot, great energy as well. And then, look, I'm kind of interested by this Lapata hurdle team at 3. I thought they were particularly aggressive yesterday. They had finished some of their matches. It was Iowa State who hadn't. But for, again, Georgia, I thought they pushed well at all 3 positions. You know what you're going to get from Riasco and Kowalski. Those are 2 who are just going to make a million balls throughout the course of that doubles match. North Carolina did the impossible, seemingly impossible yesterday. They won a match after dropping the doubles point. You do feel like for this Georgia team, particularly as Jay mentioned, how they struggled in doubles, let that one get away from them in Chapel Hill. I feel like that's going to be a particularly important point for them. Jay, on that note, again, if you're Georgia here, what are the spots you're feeling a little tentative about going into today?
I think it starts at the bottom of the lineup, right? I think that those were some of the positions, and when they played North Carolina, it was 5-2 match, right? Georgia took 1 and 2, and then North Carolina took doubles and the remaining singles matches. So if you're Georgia, you're looking for depth right now. They've been playing Grant, Narundorn at that number 6 position. The last time these two teams, Lapata played there at number 6. I thought she looked well. We haven't seen her at number 6 since that match. So that the depth is going to be a question for Georgia. I think we've seen that as a struggle here at indoors. That's the one you might feel a little bit more concerned about. And, the other thing to note is that Fiona Crawley in Chapel Hill, not at her best, right? Leah Ma knocked off Fiona Crawley in Crawley's first loss of this academic season. So, we'll have to see. I think that middle of the lineup, lower half of the lineup is the positions that Georgia will need to secure up, but it really starts with doubles, right? They are going to regret kind of the leads that they had in doubles last match. They need to start strong with doubles.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I would, to that Leah Ma end, you also just start to think, okay, what's the schedule been like for her here? 3 sets with Connie Ma day 1. She's playing 2+ hours, and whether she finished or not, that's a discussion for another time in her match against Lane Sleeth of Oklahoma. But then, again, yesterday, her and Nakla were still on court when that match was clinched. They were doing battle, and so it's a lot of court time that just adds up as you reach day number 4 of an event. Perry, same question to you. What are the spots you're looking at most closely here if you're Georgia?
I am looking at that Leah Ma spot, right? Because I agree with you that fatigue is a thing. Now, also, though, in the finals, sometimes as athletes, as any type of athlete, we just have this push on the final day that we didn't have the day before. And so Leah Ma, we could be a little careful with that. She might come out all guns blaring, just like she hasn't spent all those hours on the court. And you could be like, what? Or now this is for Fiona Crawley. If I was Fiona Crawley, I would say get an early lead in that first set. Get an early lead, get out, remind Leah Ma, hey, you've been on the court so many more hours than Fiona Crawley. Remind her, Fiona Crawley has to do a great job, really, of opening this match by putting a lot of balls in the court. And Fiona should not be a problem for the number 1 player in the country.
No, very well said. And, I would also add, who's going to play 6? We haven't seen Lapata, even though she was a submitted 6. Haven't seen her play once this weekend. Gigi to separate herself against Chea Kazuka yesterday. I do think Kazuka's legs, you could just tell by the 3rd set, she didn't have a ton of gas left in the tank, but it's a credit to Grant, who's played twice this weekend, gets a big 3-set win to send her team to this final. And, again, playing really well in doubles. I think she's who we're going to see here today. Jay, you think that's fair?
I think that's fair. I think the win yesterday gives her a lot of confidence. She'll come in with decently fresh legs, right? Because she didn't have the match where Narundin stepped in. So, yeah, I think we see her at number 6. I think the other spot I would circle for this Georgia team is Anya Hurdle at number 5. Well, she has played a lot of close matches, so she will maybe not be as fresh, but she's taking on Elizabeth Scotty at number 5, assuming Scotty plays there. Scotty didn't, when they played in Chapel Hill, 6-4 in the third. Very tight match between these two players. That's another one to circle that both teams will likely need.
Yeah, very well said. And we've touched on everyone, so might as well get to Mel Riasco, who did not have a good day one of this event and has slowly but surely found her way back into form. She was battling yesterday, ultimately falls a little bit short at that 3 spot. But again, indoors, given, again, the high and heavy way she likes to play, North Carolina's got some big hitters. And so you do wonder if that could be a tough matchup for her today. But with those Tar Heels in mind, let's switch gears now, talk about what was unequivocally the best match we have seen here in Seattle over the course of this weekend, in a match that, dare I say, almost felt like a de facto national championship preview. That's how good both North Carolina and Texas A&M were yesterday in the semifinals. Now, I abhor the cliches, but it was a match you really felt like both teams could have earned a victory in. And, again, ultimately what A&M did to North Carolina in doubles, they didn't just beat them, they gave them a smack on the face. That was a beatdown. A&M went up breaks on all 3 courts to start. They didn't stop from there, solidified those leads and take a 1-0 lead in doubles. But Carolina did what 3-time defending national indoor champions do. They looked a lot like a team that was looking to reach a 9th consecutive final. They take 4 first sets in singles. They extend the matches where they drop first sets into 3-setters as well. And look, ultimately, credit to, we'll get into all the individual pieces, actually. I just want to look big picture. 4-2 victory for the Heels. Jay, what did you see from Carolina last night?
Well, first off, big picture. I mean, this match had the electricity that some other matches haven't had in this tournament. It was palpable throughout. It had the massive momentum swings between the two teams that you typically see in a match this even. And it was a barn burner, right? And either team could have won that match. Margins couldn't have been slimmer. And I think you're right. I think that this is a Texas A&M team who has been on the rise. And, last year had a really strong performance, struggled at indoors. Gruskin, you like to say if we play that championship 10 times, they come away with 1 of them last year, but they still don't have that championship winning experience, right? And that is what North Carolina has. And I thought you saw that experience play throughout, whether it was Yarlagadda win her second set to extend that match, Abby Forbes, silent MVP for me of that match, to steal that second set, stay out on the court, keep the pressure on Texas A&M, knowing that they need to win their match while there was a buffer for North Carolina. Overall, this North Carolina team knows how to win. They know how to win as a team. They know how that sort of pressure moves from court to court. That was the big picture takeaway for me on this North Carolina team.
Abby Forbes 4-0 down in the third, as it looked like Scotty Tangillig were, starting their thirds, maybe starting to separate. And yet, again, she stays out on court when things narrow in those Scotty Tangillig third sets. Ultimately, everyone was scoreboard watching what that did for the confidence for her teammates. We talked about it on yesterday's broadcast. And to speak to the quality of this match, the Crawley-Branstein match at number 1 was the lowest quality match we had in the building. And part of that was because Carson Branstein had hurt her leg at the start or end of that first set. You could tell it really hurt her quality down the stretch of the second. And obviously we hope she gets healthy as soon as possible. But like Smetnikov versus Yarlagadda could have been a number 1 singles match. Scotty versus Goldsmith, two of the most experienced players you have in college tennis. That was the matchup at 5. It was a 3-set thriller. Could have been a number 1 singles match. What Forbes and Kupras were doing on 4, and again, for all of these Texas A&M freshmen, the chips are all the way in. As we said on yesterday's show, I thought Smetnikov's forehand was the biggest weapon we had in the building yesterday, and she was playing at the number 6 single spot. Again, you look at just the 3-set battles we had. Court 3 goes 3 sets. Court 4 goes 3 sets. Court 5 goes 3 sets. Court 6 goes 3 sets. And yet, maybe the silent MVP as well, Reese Brandmeier, who gets off the court in straight sets against a very much in form Mary Stoyana. There were like 3 breaks of serve total 4 breaks of serve total in that match, Perry. The quality was exceptional everywhere. Who stood out for you yesterday for the Tar Heels?
Reese Brantmeyer. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, Reese Brantmeyer bringing Mary Stoyana she almost outdid her because they play such a similar game. Both of them, big serves, kick serves. They have the height, want to get into the net. I mean, the way that Reese Brantmeyer was able to just be slightly more aggressive this match. And my college tennis coach, Lucy Schmidhauser at Brown, shout out to her, has always said that college tennis matches come down to 2 or 3 points. And we saw that in the Brantmeyer Stoyana. But what I was super impressed with Reese is her ability to step up specifically on those big points and do the same thing that she was doing to get to that place, right? So on big points, oftentimes girls take a step back, right? You're waiting for your opponent to miss, not Reese Brantmeyer. She was ripping on those big points. And Mary Stoyana, great defense, making Reese hit one more ball. Reese was there.
That's so well said. She just played to win. She was the aggressor. She got in. And yeah, the athleticism's laughable. Just on every court yesterday, there was just big hitting. It was explosive sounds coming off of each and every player's racket. Let's do the quick unpacking, though, of that Texas A&M victory, because we'll get to North Carolina in a second here, Jay, talk about how they move forward into today's matchup. But looking at this A&M team, it is a team you and I have gone back and forth about quite a few times on podcasts over the course of the past year. I sent a text to a coach that will remain unnamed yesterday when I was making my tiers and how I'm looking at things right now coming out of this indoors. I think there's a tier 1, very, very clearly. North Carolina is firmly ensconced in that tier. I think Texas A&M, they're not tier 2. They're tier 1. They're right up there. They have the guns to match this North Carolina team. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's it. I think that's your tier 1 right now, Jay. I think that is the inner circle of the inner circle. Am I overreacting, or do you feel the same way about this A&M roster coming off of this match?
Well, I don't think you're overreacting about Texas A&M being in that tier. Certainly, I think this is also a match that, while heartbreaking for Texas A&M, this is the sort of match that makes you that much better come May. You look at the Virginia men last season, slightly different. They lose 5 matches in a row, but so oftentimes losing early in the season motivates you down the home stretch. You know what you need to improve. You know you're not unbeatable, right? So they're going to be very dangerous, particularly a team that prefers outdoors. The amount of athleticism they have on that team. So I don't think you're overreacting there. Where I think you might be overreacting here is we're doing the pregame for the final. Georgia could walk away with the title here and cement themselves in that top tier. We will have to see. That's the 3rd team that could potentially play their way into that tier. Outside of that, that's your top tier.
Well, see, I actually have 2 other teams in tier 1.5, I say. And I put Georgia
there's a
in
new
tier,
team.
Well, no,
new tier.
I put Georgia in tier 1.5 because you're right. They beat Carolina today. There's no doubt they elevate themselves to that tier. The other one that has to be in there, NC State with Diana Schneider. Just because we still don't know what they could be a tier 1 team with Schneider in there. Is that fair, Jay?
These are your purgatory teams right now. That's what I'm hearing. It's tough with NC State, right? They're not here. It's going to be a while until we can firmly say. It's really probably going to be the NC State, kind of Duke, North Carolina matches where we say, okay, are they in that top tier? All right, we're keeping Georgia in purgatory. We'll check back here in 3 hours. We'll see whether they're 1.5 or tier 1.
Very well said. Well, then let's look towards the final for this North Carolina team now. And as we alluded to earlier, they got smacked in doubles. A&M gave them the business, Perry, as someone who has played in, again, obviously, Ivy League tennis, D1 tennis. You understand what it's like to drop a bad doubles point and have to play again later in the weekend. What's that conversation like with Coach Calbus and his team? What do you expect to see from Carolina in that doubles point today?
Well, there are 2 ways that Coach Calbus could have dealt with this, right? The first way could have been like, how did you guys lose this point, right? How did you guys drop the doubles point? Again, we are the 3-time defending champion at this event. We're not even in the finals and we dropped the doubles point. But he could also say, okay, hey, credit to A&M for just rolling us. We got through that match. We don't have to worry about the Aggies, at least for now. Maybe in the spring, who knows? But maybe he's actually trying to give more confidence to the Tar Heels, because after getting rolled like that, I mean, the Tar Heels could not have felt the best heading into singles. So I definitely feel that Coach Calbus could have approached it either way. But if I was him, I would say, all right, girls, anchor down. It's all right. It happened. We got through it. Now onward. And I mean, let's see if Georgia can do the same thing, because honestly, that's not easy to roll over North Carolina like that in doubles. So maybe they say, all right, it happened once. We don't know if it can happen again. It's all right.
Yeah, well said. And Jay, you alluded to this earlier. when these two teams faced off at Chapel Hill, again, a 5-2 victory for the Tar Heels, Georgia had North Carolina backs pinned against the wall in that doubles point, and ultimately the Heels were able to escape. But again, match calculus, as you're looking for this Tar Heel team headed into the final, who are you feeling most confident about?
In doubles or overall?
Jay, you know the rules. Give it to me however you see it.
I will say I agree with Perry. I actually think that losing that doubles point could take a lot of pressure off of North Carolina. I mean, to lose that doubles point, take 4 singles victories against Texas A&M, they could have taken 5, right? I think that lets them know they can drop a doubles point. They will find 4 singles points. They're going to feel very confident that another team can take doubles and still probably not get 3 singles victories. So I think they'll play a lot freer here in doubles. They have had that experience of, coming back against this Georgia team. I think I think we'll see a different North Carolina team in doubles. I like North Carolina in doubles. I think that puts them up 1-0. I think in terms of positions, I like Fiona Crawley at that number 1 singles position. I think she's playing significantly better tennis than what she was playing back in Chapel Hill. I also like Carson Tangillig at number 3. Granted, she played a very long match yesterday against Salma Ewing of Texas A&M. She beat Mel Riasco just a few weeks ago in straight sets. I think those are 3 positions that I really like for this North Carolina team. And then number 6, I think Annika Yarlagadda, the All-American, will come out swinging here in the final day of action. Probably not feeling great. She dropped that one match yesterday. I think she gets the clinching victory at number 6 singles.
There's your full match calculus from Jay. Although, let the record show Yarlagadda to win the second set in the fashion that she did. That's exactly the response we've all learned to expect from the senior and number 12 ranked player in the country who is not submitted in the starting lineup for North Carolina. And, to that end, Perry, I want to ask you, because we've seen they have options, right? And Scotty played a really physical match yesterday at 5. Tran didn't play yesterday. She played the 2 prior days. Obviously, Yarlagadda's gotten 3 matches under her belt. What do you expect Carolina to do at the bottom of the lineup here today?
I expect them to keep Scotty and say, all right, Scotty, you've been here before, girl. Like, you can do this. I mean, also, again, that last day, I know we're talking about the physicality, and obviously we'll talk about it and we'll see if the physicality is hurting these Carolina players who have been out there for hours and hours. I'm not so sure. I'm not super convinced that Scotty will be very affected by that match yesterday. I mean, again, these girls train for this. This is our lives. And so at this point, it's kind of all or nothing. I mean, especially for these upperclassmen. So Scotty, I think, goes in. Yarlagadda goes in. And again, as you said, Yarlagadda's response yesterday against Spendikov after dropping the first set handily to win the next set handily, that just shows experience. So I think Coach Calvis is going to want to keep Scotty, keep Yarlagadda at those 5 and 6 spots.
Yeah. All right, Jay, same question to you as we wrap this pregame show. Again, 5-6. Any questions, or do you think we see that same flex as yesterday?
It's going to be the same flex. I would be very surprised if we see anything but that, unless, of course, someone developed an injury in a match yesterday that we're not aware of. Other than that, it's all in, right? This is the final match. This is for the indoor title. North Carolina is going to put their A team out there, the team that has been winning this title year after year. I don't think we see changes.
So then let's just put it on the line. Obviously, Perry and I on the call, so the pressure goes on you, Jay. You alluded to it earlier, but I'll just put you formally on the spot. You said before the tournament, winner of North Carolina Pepperdine is winning this event. Well, North Carolina won that event, won that match. They're going to win it here today?
Yeah, that pick's looking pretty good, right? Yes, I do think North Carolina gets the victory today. I think it's a 4-1 victory. I think the positions I like for North Carolina, doubles, 1, 3, 6. That's 4 points. I like the Tar Heels, 4th straight historic, ITA indoor championship for the Tar Heels. But we'll see, right? For Georgia, if you're looking at this, just the flip side of the calculus, again, it starts in doubles. They have to get this doubles point. They have to come out strong, put North Carolina on their back foot. They have to get Vidmanova at 2 again. And Meg Kowalski, a 5th year here. She likely needs to step up there, kind of the one connective tissue to that 2019 team who won this title against the Tar Heels. That's the match calculus for Georgia. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, very well said. And the magic number is 9. 9 consecutive national indoor finals for this North Carolina team. As Colette Lewis wrote yesterday, that is an unprecedented, historic, dare I say, not WTN, but WTF sort of run from this North Carolina team. Just absolutely incredible what the Tar Heels have done, looking for their 4th straight championship. And then, by the way, 9th national indoor appearance in the final for this University of Georgia team. First since 2019, we were here in Seattle the last time Georgia won this national indoor title. Again, Katarina Jokic over McKenna Jones to clinch a 4-3 victory. If today is even 50% as good as that one, we've got a barn burner on our hands, folks. So again, coming up, top of the hour, it will be the University of North Carolina taking on the University of Georgia for the right to be named the national indoor champion. Now, before we take our break, we'll get you the anthem. We'll get you first ball being hit in the doubles. We do want to send our thoughts, prayers, and love to David Filer, a Midwest junior tennis player who was recently diagnosed with brain cancer and put on hospice earlier this week. There are so many college teams, so many college players, so many people around the country who are sending their love to David. Obviously, so many people feel so fondly about the Filer family. And, you know, so many of us in our lives know the connections we make during our time playing junior tennis, during our time in the tennis world. Those are the connections that last forever. And so obviously our thoughts, our loves, our prayers are with the Filer family. We actually do want to end today's show with a message we got from one player who in particular wants to send their love to David. But again, with all of that in mind, match coming up top of the hour. Please, though, check out this GoFundMe. Go support the Filer family. And again, we will have more tennis for you coming up at the top of the hour.
Hey, David, how you doing? It's Rajiv Ram here. I know we don't really know each other, but I just want to send you a quick message to say that I'm thinking about you. Keep fighting, man. Look, we're all a family here. We're all a tennis community, and you know, every single one of us is pulling for you. So keep doing your thing, buddy, and hopefully get to meet you sometime soon. All right.
So again, David, the Filer family, you are in our thoughts. Obviously, we will try and do our best to play today's match in the spirit of David. In that spirit, we all know that tennis brings us all together. And again, we are thinking about him with all of that in mind. Again, we got a fun final ahead of us. There's no doubt about it. It's our college tennis national indoor grand finale. North Carolina versus Georgia. Blue blood versus blue blood. Who's going to take home the title? We'll find out at the top of the hour. For the fantastic John Parsons, fantastic Perry Shinen, the best in the business, our super producer Daniel Westoff, and all of us here in Seattle, I'm Alex Gruskin. We'll see you in 15 minutes for the 2023 National Indoor Final.
Tennis is superb. Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world. Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out! Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing AP Tennis and AP.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world. Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out! Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing AP Tennis and AP Coach. Everything tennis players need to become mentally tough, both on and off the court. And everything coaches need to help players reach their full potential. Because we are extremely confident that AP does work, we are offering free 1-month split testing to validate APEAK's effectiveness when implemented correctly. With split testing, we'll have half your players use APEAK, while the other half does not. Then, we'll conduct pre- and post-testing to demonstrate APEAK's value. To take advantage of this offer, email us at apeak@apeak.com.
Tennis. What does it mean to you? Everything? Us too. For fun. For health. For life. Tennis Point. Get the gear your game needs.
So at Oklahoma State, we've always prided ourselves on having one of the premier tennis facilities in the country. One of the aspects that wasn't living up to that was our indoor lighting, and so we partnered with Sports Interiors, who had the reputation of being the best in the business, and they were the easiest for us to work with. Dan and his group came in from day one and gave us a plan that would allow us to have the best lighting. And with us hosting the 2020 NCAA National Championships, that's what we wanted. We wanted to showcase our tennis facility as being one of the best in the country and being a venue that would allow us to host the best championship possible.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world. Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out. Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing A-Peak Tennis and A-Peak Coach. Everything tennis players need to become mentally tough, both on and off the court. And everything coaches need to help players reach their full potential. Because we are extremely confident that A-Peak does work, we are offering free 1-month split testing to validate A-Peak's effectiveness when implemented correctly. With split testing, we'll have half your players use A-Peak, while the other half does not. Then, we'll conduct pre- and post-testing to demonstrate A-Peak's value. To take advantage of this offer, email us at apeak@apeak.com.
Tennis. What does it mean to you? Everything? Us too. For fun. For health. For life. Tennis Point. Get the gear your game needs.
So at Oklahoma State, we've always prided ourselves on having one of the premier tennis facilities in the country. One of the aspects that wasn't living up to that was our indoor lighting, and so we partnered with Sports Interiors, who had the reputation of being the best in the business, and they were the easiest for us to work with. Dan and his group came in from day one and gave us a plan that would allow us to have the best lighting. And with us hosting the 2020 NCAA National Championships, that's what we wanted. We wanted to showcase our tennis facility as being one of the best in the country and being a venue that would allow us to host the best championship possible.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world. Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
Welcome back in, everyone, to the 2023 ITA Division I National Women's Team Indoor Championship Final. Alex Gruskin here, joined by the great Perry Shinen, as we enjoy our final match. It's the University of North Carolina taking on the University of Georgia, a rematch of the 2019 indoor final held here in Seattle. We've got players walking onto the court now while we wait for action to begin. Perry, I know we talked about it in the pregame show. We got a doozy on our hands, don't we?
I mean, are you kidding me? These are the bluest of the blue bloods squaring off here in Seattle. Again, the corner of the country, but the hub of women's college tennis this afternoon in Seattle at Nordstrom Tennis Center.
It's going to be fun. Of course, again, back in that 2019 final, you had Sarah Davitella overcoming match points, 5-1 deficits. McKenna Jones up 5-2 in the third before Katarina Jokic storms back for the clinch. Again, if this match is 30%, 40% of the battle we had in 2019, it still promises to be a photo finish. And again, this is a rematch of a matchup we saw earlier this season. Back in January, it was the Tar Heels earning a 5-2 victory over these Georgia Bulldogs in Chapel Hill. Now, obviously, it's a neutral site here today, but we always wonder, how will that prior matchup linger here at the start of today's play? And again, we want to have coverage from first ball to last. I see players out on court getting ready for the coin toss, so let's head to it. 3 box to start here. We're going to show you all 3 sets happening simultaneously. We'll alternate who gets the big screen, but of course, a quick reminder, in case this is your first college tennis match, I would say, A, where have you been? But B, you picked a great time to join us. Just a reminder how this works. You've got 3 double sets happening simultaneously. Action, no ad scoring. 1 set, play to 6, breaker at 6 all. Whichever team takes 2 of these 3 double sets will take the doubles point and a 1-0 lead heading into our 6 singles matches. Perry, I ask you this before we have a single ball struck. Who is this doubles point more important for?
I mean, Georgia, 100%. UNC showed yesterday the only team so far in this tournament to have dropped the doubles point and then won singles. So we'll have to see. Can Georgia take the doubles point? Can Georgia get the momentum going? Because even if they do, that does not guarantee them a win against the 3-time defending national champions at this event.
To say those magic words. Let's play some tennis. Middle solves the riddle early. Boy, it's a testament to the depth of this North Carolina team. They have the #1 ranked doubles team in the country. That team plays #2 in their lineup here at the top spot. It's the 4th year. Elizabeth Scotty partnered with the freshman Reese Brantmeyer. They're taking on the all-sophomore duo, Gigi, Jeremina Grant, and Mai Narendorn. It's Brantmeyer serving on the far side. Narendorn returning on the ad. Great passing shot from Narundor. It's the combination of things this duo at the number 1 spot brings for the Bulldogs. The creativity, angles created by Narundor combined with the movement, aggressiveness of Grant. It's what helped them earn a 6-3 win when these two teams faced off in Chapel Hill. Of course, you look overall at the records this week for these two teams. Scotty, Brantmeyer. 1-1-1 overall win over Pepperdine's Brodus and Chen. Didn't finish against Miller and Brown of Michigan. They dropped the match to Brandstein and Stoyana, but that's, again, 3 top 30 opponents.
Wow, and that lob falls in, gripping the back of the line.
Of course, this Georgia team lost their first match of the weekend to Stanford, but boy, have Grant and Narundor come on strong since. Wins over Iowa State, Oklahoma subsequently, and yeah, again, there's an energy they bring, right? Of all the 3 doubles teams, you can understand why this Georgia team is at the number 1 spot.
And I mean, we saw Gigi yesterday so active at the net, and she's someone, Jeremina Grant, we're going to want to see her at the net today, really being active from the first ball to last. And again, 30-all, first game. So far, so good for Gigi and the Bulldogs. Sails long. And the Tar Heels have their first game point.
And again, early in this match, nerves. Get that first hold. Build some scoreboard pressure. It's that much more valuable now, of course, than perhaps any other match you'll play. And in fact, looking across the board, you can tell. Tight. Candidate, as expected, here in this National Indoor Final. Brantmeyer goes wide, so it's an early deuce point, deciding point. Expect anything else. Meanwhile, 40-30 spots. Tan Gilligan Crawley facing break point, as are Forbes and Tran. So it's break points everywhere for the Bulldogs. Westhoff, give me that graphic. Break on 2. And to break on 1 for the Bulldogs as well. So they race out to 1-0 leads on courts 1 and 2. Again, the sophomores, Narundor, Grant. You win today, you're probably the all-tournament team selection. That's another little added carrot on the line here at this number 1 double spot. Let's head over to number 2. As you see, we got changeovers everywhere. So right now we'll just introduce all the pieces. Here's your number 1 doubles team in the country. ITA Fall Nats finalists, Fiona Crawley, Carson Tan Gillig, Crawley the junior, of course. And Gillig, the sophomore, this pairing so far this week. Dropped a tough 7-6 set against Pepperdine. 6-3 yesterday. They fall to Ewing and Goldsmith. Did get a win over Michigan, helping UNC secure the doubles point there.
And again, this is really for girls. This is just a battle of athleticism out here on the doubles court. How much fun to watch. I mean, we've talked to Fiona Crawley on both of our podcasts. Fiona Crawley saying that her partner here has the best volleys in the NCAA. Meanwhile, Tangillig was also a high school basketball player, and we have Riasco and Kowalski, 2 of the most physical players in the NCAA.
Great pressure by the heels. Carson Tan Gillig making sure that chip and charge doesn't die. She's going to slice and dice you, get to the net whenever possible. To your point, though, they've got a tough test today. 2-1 duo in Kowalski, Riasco this weekend. They won the clinching breaker yesterday over an undefeated Iowa State 2 doubles team. Yeah, it's just a ton of experience, right? Kowalski, the 5th year.
And again, that's confidence to be able to do that. And then the bond that you form with your doubles partner during moments like this, it's truly something. Lob City here from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Wow.
Great discipline from Kowalski. Great depth, good hands from Riasco. For what it's worth, we mentioned the last time these two faced off in the indoor final, 2019. Meg Kowalski was a member of that Georgia team, earned a victory at the number 6 singles position on the day, 2-6. Jesse Annie.
Kowalski really a senior leader on this Bulldogs team after having that experience and leading them back to another indoor national final.
Great return from Crawley, and it's that relentlessness, the depth you're going to see consistently. Breakpoint chances back for the number 2 team here for the Heels. Meanwhile, you see Georgia consolidates at 1. Serving moniker incorrect on court number 3. So we'll get that marker hopefully changed for you. Let's see, it's Georgia serving. Game point, not break. It's been one of our themes of the week, right? Singles on the doubles court. Which of these two teams on court number 2 is going to be more willing to push forward, put some pressure on their opponents? It's deuce point chance here on 2. You see the deuce point on 3 as the Heels try to earn a break lead of their own. Get to that court number 3 in a moment. Introduce our characters there.
And again, Alex, something that we've seen here on court 2, Carson and Tangilig, or rather Crawley and Tangilig, doing everything they can to be as aggressive as possible. The thing is, Riasco and Kowalski can wait. They can wait you out. They've done that a few times. Oh,
no,
that time.
No, but I like the activity. And to your point, I actually think I would lean towards UNC in that sense. It's at least they're pushing forward. It feels like this Georgia doubles team right now maybe too reactive to start, but hey, it's a deuce point break. 1-1 here on court number 2. Again, right about what we expected to kick off this match. Let's bring court number 3 to the big screen now. And again, this is the embarrassment of riches as it relates to these Tar Heels. You've got All-American Abby Forbes that transfer, of course, over from UCLA for her final 2 years of eligibility. Forbes partnered with the junior Riley Tran, just another one of those top 30 players, just lingering on
just
this
existing
Tar
on
Heels
this
roster.
team.
Yeah, exactly.
No worries.
They're taking on a talented duo. It's Anya Hurdle, the senior, partnered with freshman Anastasia Lapata.
That backhand misfires slightly. Now we have Hurdle and Lapata, 2 points away from taking a lead on the number 3 doubles court.
Also, again, one of those little carrots you think about on the final day. Both these teams 2-0-1. 2 victories, 1 didn't finish. Winner of this is your all-tournament team selection. You can lock that in. So just, again, another one of those little things we enjoy here as you see the strong coach from Abby Forbes.
Abby Forbes, again, another player here that is so technically sound. And I do think that technique is so interesting. We've talked about this over the weekend, Alex. I mean, sometimes technique, in junior tennis at least, is not quite as important. But now here at this level, indoors, when the ball's going so fast, you've got to have compact strokes.
Mm-hmm.
And Forbes goes for it, but doesn't make that one.
I do like the aggression, though. Play loose, play free. That said, breakpoint chances coming up on this court number 3. It's Anastasia Lapata, the freshman, returning on that deuce side. Tran serving on the far side for the Heels. They land good.
Wow.
They did.
Line gripper. Love to see it.
It's the two hands, right?
Of course.
Physical wonder.
Again, Tran, another player in college tennis with two hands on both sides that is just wonderful at accuracy. So accurate there.
Still 2 more break point chances here. Great poach. Anastasia Lapata delivering the early break to the Bulldogs on 3. 2-1 everywhere. But it's Georgia up breaks at the number 1 and 3 positions here early. Let's go full screen. Let's go big screen court number 1. Check back in on the ones here now. Again, it's Narundorn Grant with the early break lead. It does feel worth mentioning as you look at this Georgia lineup. Who's not in the doubles lineup for this team? Number 1 singles player, Leah Ma. Number 2 singles player, Dasha Viedmanova. Now, that's a testament to the depth and the options coaches Jeff Wallace, Drake Bernstein have on this roster. But again, with the weapons those two possess, it is a little surprising.
I agree, especially a player like Leah Ma. I mean, someone whose forehand just rips. You would think that even if she isn't the most comfortable on the doubles court, which I know from junior tennis, that girl can play some good doubles. I'm surprised. I am also surprised by that because I feel like she could set up her partner at net with just that forehand ripper from the baseline.
Yeah, I'd roll with a Ma Viedmanova team and take our chances.
I mean, honestly, I'm Ma with anyone on this team.
And there's that Elizabeth Scotty overhead. Of course, Scotty, 2021 NCAA doubles champ, alongside, I should say, of former Tar Heel All-American McKenna Jones.
10 points each have been won on court number 1.
Yeah, just missed it. So again, let's see here in this service game in particular, this feels like the tough one. Nuremberg a little less confident crossing than Grant. I think if this is the one, if you're the Tar Heels, you circled, this is where we attack. Yeah. Look, guard good there. Great hands, great aggression. Sets up game point chances here for the Bulldogs. Great pinch forward, but you see there again, it's a very small thing, but those small things are all we have in a matchup with this many good players. And Rundorn just a little less willing to take that ball out of the air. That's that overhead drop. All of a sudden, Grant Meyer, Scotty have that have the advantage in positioning. That's how you say that word.
Correct. Advantage. Correct. A common word in the sport.
Okay. Oh. Scotty with the stretch. Let's go to a deciding point on 1.
Again, that was a bit of a tight miss right on top of the net, but not an easy shot, especially in doubles when you're seeing double. There are 2 on the opponent's side.
Scotty's progress as a volleyer. I know she's an NCAA doubles champ already. Cannot emphasize enough how much better she has gotten over the past couple of years.
Which is unbelievable, right? I mean, after winning the NCAA title, how much better can you get? But I totally agree. Elizabeth Scotty has improved tremendously on the doubles court.
Oh, just long off the racket of Brantmeyer. So Georgia, dare I say, escaping with a hold there still.
Escaping.
The 3-1 lead on one. Game points now a 3-1 lead on two, so they're holding on to those breaks, and that's what they did so well yesterday against Iowa State, so well in match number 1 against Stanford, just so well all week. They've built early leads and protected them. Of course, they had those early leads in Chapel Hill a couple of weeks ago in the doubles. They weren't able quite to hold on. Again, this was a spot Georgia did get a win in, and they played in Chapel Hill 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Yeah. Reese Brantmeyer, forehand swinger.
Aggressive. Love that aggression.
Now again, Narendra and Grant, I like how you're saying they're escaping, because although they're up 3-1, there's a part of me that doesn't feel like they're completely playing like they're up 3-1. And I feel like if I was head coach Jeff Wallace, I would say, all right, girls, maybe now is the time to step up because you have the lead. And Brantmeyer, Scotty, again, going for their shots, missing a few early, but I'm still thinking they're playing, quote unquote, the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Double from the Tar Heels team. Again, Reese Brantmeyer, a freshman, one of the best freshmen and the best players in the country. Had a huge win yesterday over Mary Stoyana in straight sets. Mary Stoyana, the Aggie, a sophomore who's had 2 standout seasons with Texas A&M.
Good overhead. And Scotty Brantmeyer, figure they'll get a chance eventually, right? Got a hold serve here, just keep things in the margin.
And again, I mean, Reese Brantmeyer, a freshman, maybe some nerves here, because I do feel like there's the saying in tennis, of course, that everyone feels nerves, and Billie Jean King, my idol, says pressure is a privilege, but I do feel like people deal with nerves differently, and seeing Elizabeth Scotty, she's kind of just eating it up at net. So if Reese Brantmeyer can put enough balls in, yeah, exactly like Scotty's doing, just being that huge presence at net. Oh, that's just a little there. Maybe too big of a presence.
What happened? So it's a 30-all spot. Meanwhile, you see on court number 2, it's a 3-2 hold. So we're on serve right now. Court number 3. Big 30-all on 3 as well. Again, Lapata hurdle. Get some really good ball here this weekend. Game point chance on 3. Abby Forbes serving for the heels. Sails long, yeah. Brantmeyer, Scotty holding their ground well. Again, down that early break was a deuce point break in game number 1. I think if you're the heels, you're still feeling pretty good about your start.
I agree.
Foundationally, things you're going for. You're playing aggressive. I don't think they've been tentative. That said, credit to these Bulldogs. Putting balls in the court, making you beat them.
And again, in the National Indoor Final, not an easy task.
That's great overhead, though, from Scotty. So 2-3. And I do think, again, that that Mine Rundorn service game coming up for the Bulldogs. That might just be a fun one. We'll keep our eye on it. Let's put 2 on the main screen. Again, Crawley, Tangillig, Riasco, Kowalski. You put all 4 of those players on a court, something fun's going to happen. Of course, had the opportunity to speak with the lovely Mrs. Crawley. Such a fan of hers. I know Dr. Crawley, Fiona's dad, unfortunately couldn't make it out to the event. You got to imagine he's watching on the live stream. So hello, Dr. Crawley.
Of course, hello.
It's good to talk to you in theory.
In theory.
But a really cool thing to surprise Fiona. Brother and sister flying in today for the final.
So special.
You file that under things you love to see.
Oh, of course, things you love to see. And I mean, Fiona talking to both of us about how much she's close with her family and really how those family ties are what helped bring her actually to UNC, because she being close with her family and then seeing that same kind of family dynamic, family atmosphere at UNC women's tennis is what made her commit. And after committing, may we say it's been an okay career.
102-9 at this point of her career in singles results.
And Riasko Kowalski putting balls in, hanging in. 15-all now. Tar Heels lead 3-2.
All right. What's the big thing we've seen, of course, for these Tar Heels so far? One break of serve. That's it in doubles. Crawley, Tangillig were able to get that early break back. But again, it's finding those opportunities, that return of serve. I do wonder, that's where nerves so often manifest, right? Feel a little shaky on that first ball.
Oh, I can still feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
My body just tensed up when you said that. Oh, yes.
Nothing tentative about that. That's just excellent.
Nice
from the
move.
sophomore Mel Riasco. She missed the one earlier, right? On the break point.
Correct.
But you missed that one to make this one here. It's the long game we're playing.
It is, and you know, that's a great point, Alex, because even though it's a set just to 6, it really is the long game. We're seeing the Tar Heels. I will be curious to see what happens at that #1 dub spot because, again, Tar Heels playing aggressive early and kind of playing the long game, missing a few balls early. Now let's see if they can hang in and if those balls start to fall.
Meanwhile, again, just very quietly, Lapata and Hurdle are cruising along. They play such foundation. Talk about a team that crosses, gets 2 up, takes the first ball early. Really like these principles Georgia's played with here early. And you do wonder after what happened in the doubles point in Chapel Hill. Be up 5-3. See that lead dissipate. You imagine, again, this is one. What was it going to be hard for Georgia to get up for this doubles point?
Correct. And we see here on #2 court, which is, of course, filled with top players. We're tied at 3 now. Again, Carson and Fiona just really still going for their shots, missing a few, but Tar Heels playing aggressive to start off this match. Rare unforced error there. From Kowalski.
Go over to 3 on the big screen. See if Anya Hurdle, the senior, put another hold on the board here. Of course, head coach Jeff Wallace sitting on this court. Wallace, the head coach for this Georgia Bulldogs program, has led this team to multiple national indoor titles over the years, the back-to-back titles. I want to say 94, 95.
Meanwhile, we're seeing Dasha Vidmanova warming up for her singles match. Strokes are clean as butter.
Something we talked about in the pregame show. Maybe even more pressingly, it is looking like it's going to be Annika Yarlagata. As Yarlagata's warming up for the Tar Heels right now. Likely means Riley Tran probably out in singles. You see the 4-2 hold on 3 for the Bulldogs. Hurdle, Lapata, undefeated on the weekend. Going to continue that trend. I mean, look at that swinging volley. Come on now.
Just a rip.
Anastasia Lapata. Freshman's been listed at the #6 singles position. We've yet to see her play at that 6 spot. The testament to the options, again, is true. this roster possesses for Georgia. But I like her game. I like the explosiveness. I like her aggression.
Now, I mean, it translates very well to doubles, and I guess we'll have to see if head coach Jeff Wallace thinks that translates to singles.
Maybe it's an indoor-outdoor thing.
Could be.
All things worth considering.
But Hurdle and Lapato with the 4-2 lead. The most decisive lead here of these 3 doubles matches so far.
As you see the let court ace from Scotty. Of course, you play lets here in college tennis.
Oh, that's so crazy.
And so it is a hold 4-3-4, still back at just 1 break deficit. And you just do wonder again, Minor Rundort a little less comfortable crossing at the net. So maybe it is the Jeremy Grant service game that will offer an opportunity for the Heels at 1. Still, again, with how well this Georgia team has moved, the foundational principles, again, serve, cross, first serves to the body, get 2 up when the approach shot's there. It's very bread and butter. It's working so far. Protecting leads.
Good defense from the Bulldogs. And then misses the approach. That transition is so tough from defense to offense, but
You know, the key is also the communication. You saw Tran immediately say, okay, this one's for Abby. I'm going to duck. Please don't hit me. That's trust.
that is trust.
Yeah.
That is trust.
No, I'd have smacked someone in the head there. I'd be like, wait, I'm sorry, you want me to do what?
Alex has accuracy. He would have just done it on purpose.
Yeah. Fair. As that ball did sail. So it's game point chances here. Forbes Tran. Oh, no. Scoreboard was incorrect. Excuse me. That's the game for Forbes Tran. So 3-4 here. Still the single break deficits on 1 and 3. Let's go back to 1. Again, 2 right now. It's on serve. 4-3. Crawley Tangillig lead. Right now, for match calculus purposes, let's stay focused on 1 and 3. And right here, it's a Love 15 hole. Sophomore Jeremy Grant serving on.
Whoa!
It's a good escape. Little dodgeball.
Yeah. We used to call that a home run.
Yeah, quick feet. An all-tarp team. On that forehand, again, you're going to see consistent aggression off the racket of freshman Reese Brantmeyer. Well done.
And again, Brantmeyer both Brantmeyer and Scotty, but especially Brantmeyer, so much natural power.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, perhaps nerves manifest themselves in long misses like that.
Good hands from Narundor and a great stick save. Sets up the game point chances again. We had a wave of deuce points in the first 3 minutes.
Now again, Narundor and Grant, not quote-unquote the shinier team here, not the one that your eyes would be drawn to, but again, they're putting the balls where they need to be. Accuracy and execution. We see that again and again with this team.
Absolutely. It's an overrule. So the game goes to Narundor. Grant, 5-3 now. It was close. Tough to tell from our broadcast booth. You defer to the chair always. 5-3 lead here for the Bulldogs on one. Let's go full screen. Let's go to 3, please. Right now, again, that break lead, 5-3. Bulldogs took a break in game number 1. Game number 1. At that number 1 double spot, it's been on serve ever since. Right, Tran says, thank you very much.
And again, the combination of the power from Forbes and the accuracy of Tran. It's a great duo.
And this is where, we'll just say it, it's a freshman. Anastasia Lapata serving on the far side. You've played a lot of matches. A little bit different when you're 4-3 up serving in the National Indoor Final.
Everything feels a little different, a little heightened. And again, quick vibe check. We can feel that here at Nordstrom Tennis Center. Again, it's maybe not as loud as the last few matches, but the focus, the intensity, I feel like if we could measure intensity level, that's the highest. We're feeling the intensity from both these teams.
Is it intensity or tension? As you see there, that's a great response from Lapana, the down-the-line winner. But what's one thing I don't hear? It's not as, I don't know, ravenous. Like, it's just not as, you know, usually over these past couple days, you get the noise, you get the team cheers, you get the bouncing, all these things that we just haven't heard.
From either team, I don't think there's a difference between teams in that. And perhaps it is, you know what, Alex? It could be just that all of the girls' energy, all of their energy, the remaining energy is just focused on the tennis. You know, at the end of college tennis, we all have such strong cores from shouting. Good core workout, even for those who don't play.
She gets there.
Defense from the Tar Heels.
Now it's a final.
Are
That
you
might just
kidding?
be your tennis point moment of the day here. Tar Heels looking for anything to sink their teeth into. Break point chance here on 5, but of course, right as that happens, it's 30 hole on 2. Now it's break point chances for Georgia. In court number 2. Meanwhile, they're going to the veteran. It's All-American Abby Forbes. Will take this deuce point return on 3. Abby Forbes is everywhere.
Oh, yes. Oh, the little hug mid-match. Alex, can I have a hug mid-match? That's no fair. And we're tied at 4 here.
I always have the hug, Perry.
Aw, thanks.
As of course we look here, 4-all now. The last time we saw Abby Forbes in a National Indoor Final, 2020, her UCLA Bruins face these North Carolina Tar Heels. Everyone faces North Carolina in the National Indoor Finals. That's been the story. 9 consecutive years now. So now she gets to be a part of the final. Meanwhile, it's a break on 2. So how about this? We're going to have to go, and I love you, court number 3, but Westhoff, can you get me a split screen ready of courts 1 and 2? Let's go split screen on 1 and 2. I'll keep you updated on Tran and Forbes, but right now, North Carolina Georgia serving for the doubles point. They broke early on court 1, have 4 subsequent consecutive holds since, and it'll be the sophomore Mina Rundorn to serve to give Georgia the set on 1. Meanwhile, court number 2 looks like it'll be Meg Kowalski serving. And if you're a Georgia fan, this feels awfully familiar. Georgia in a very similar spot in Chapel Hill a few weeks ago. The Tar Heels dug themselves out of that one. Can they do it again today? Brandmeier overhead needs a start on court 1.
And again, Brandmeier holding her serve. U.S. Open second rounder. That's not super surprising. And again, this is the U.S. Open, the adult version for U.S. Open. Reese Brandmeier got to the second round. So I do feel like the true test, Alex, is now, right? It's can they break? Can they break Narendra and Grant to tie this up at 5?
Well, if they don't, the set will be over.
Correct.
And that's the aggression built early in the match. Scotty and Brandmeier have continued to cross. Now, it hasn't worked, but it's building the foundation. So there we go. Love 30. Tell you what, you don't break at 30, you're halfway there. Yeah, it's a national indoor final. There are going to be twists. There are going to be turns.
And I like what you're saying, Alex. Just the consistency from Brandmeier, Scotty, and now the balls are falling in.
Absolutely. You could sense it. You really could. Again, it helps be here in the building, as we are. Alex Gruskin here with Perry Sheinin. Breakpoint chances for the Heels to level things on 1. But yeah, Scotty and Brandmeier have had the shots. They just missed them.
Exactly.
Overheads floating, forehand slaps wide.
And of course, if you're Narendra and Grant, perhaps not with the same natural ability to generate power, you're kind of missing this. You're hoping those misses keep coming.
And there's the break. So it's 5-all now on 1. We got to go quickly over to court 3. Let's replace 1 with 3. Hurdle, Lapata come roaring back. And huge 30-all spot on 2. Make it 40-30. Match point for the Bulldogs on court number 2.
Wow.
So it's Kowalski and Riasco. Little revenge. They had a big lead in Chapel Hill. Weren't able to hold on to it. This time, 6-4. Bulldogs take it at court number 2. So now it comes down to courts 1 and 3. Georgia needs 1. Carolina needs them both. 1 break point fought off at number 3. Abby Forbes, it feels like, has fought off 6, 7 break point chances here at this number 3 doubles position. Meanwhile, Brandmeier and Scotty have found cruise control. Started out at a lean, mean 67, and they've slowly hit that dial up. Now we're cranking 80, 85, 90 miles per hour. That's the aggression this team brings at 1. Why Coach Calvis has them in this position.
And again, driving a Porsche there, court 1.
Yeah, by the way, now it's a deciding point. Last off, throw it on the screen. Over on court number 3, a critical one. Let's go full screen for it. Full screen on 3. Let's see. Interesting. So they're going to the freshman, Anastasia Lapata, for the return.
Let's see.
Hands.
Oh, yes.
It's the all-hands team, Riley Tran. Great pinch from Hurdle. That ball wins you 9 out of 10 points.
Of course.
90 out of 100, but in this instance, Tran does just enough. And from 1540 down, how about this? 5-4 heels on 3. But of course, now things get a little complicated on 1. From 40 love to 40-30. It's 2021 NCAA doubles champion Elizabeth Scotty serving for these Tar Heels.
I'm talking about momentum again. When you're down and you're playing to come back, you start playing so well, and then all of a sudden you're back. 5-all, 40-15, now 40-30. It's a little tougher when the score is tied back up again.
Well, that's what Minor Undone does. You're not going to outgrind her from that baseline, and ultimately, Gigi gets the pinch. So it's a deciding point now after all of that. Deciding point coming up on 1.
Now again, the Bulldogs going to want to grind down Brent Meyer and Scotty, who, if they're trying to play their game, Brent Meyer and Scotty, trying to make this a quick point.
That overhead, always
yeah.
so important. There are 2 lines of thinking. Was that a little more complicated than it needed to be? Absolutely. That said, you know who loves the drama? All of us college tennis fans tuning in. Tar Heels now. You're absolutely right. What a swing in the momentum. For 40 minutes, this Georgia Bulldogs team was protecting leads. Courts 1, courts 3. Now all of a sudden, here come the Heels. 3-time defending national indoor champions. You knew this push was coming.
And again, you know what I love, Alex, is that the Tar Heels dig deep.
Yeah.
I mean, how deep is this digging? This is like 6 feet under digging. I mean,
and I hate to keep bringing it up, but again, if you're a Georgia fan, you're thinking, again, this is happening again. Didn't we just do this over in Chapel Hill? Georgia had leads on a couple of doubles courts. Weren't able to finish the job. And now, of course, it's match points here for Forbes and Tran at 3.
wow.
It's a stick save. All right, Georgia, show us what you're made of. And it's Anya Hurdle, the senior, serving. Match point number 2 for the Heels. Well, Matthew Roca hit it on the head. Nerves of steel. Tar Heels on the precipice of defeat. Grind out a 6-4 win at 3. And again, if you're Abby Forbes, that's what you came to Chapel Hill to do. Now, this is what we deserve. Comes down to the number 1 spot. Sophomore Jeremina Grant Gigi to her teammates, serving at this 15-30 deficit. When these 2 teams faced off a couple weeks ago, was a 6-3 win for Granton Narundorn. They were leading the entirety of this set.
And again, it's a little harder to close if you're facing the Tar Heels at Indoor Nationals, where they are the queens. Nice pickup for Brent Meyer.
Oh, angle from Jeremy Grant. The hands there from Narundorn. Just stick around. One set apiece. Doubles point will be decided here at 1.
Again, the Heels 2 points away from claiming victory out of the jaws of defeat in this doubles point. Little tight on that Scotty forehand. Understandable. Gives the Bulldogs a chance to send this deciding doubles match to a tiebreak. Wow. And we're going to a breaker.
Wouldn't have it any other way. So a tiebreak will decide the doubles point in our national indoor finals. First to 7, win by 2. Play some tennis.
Let's do it. Again.
Let's go.
Brandmeier, Scotty.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Alex is hyped, can you tell?
She's hit that overhead so well today.
I can't remember her missing one,
Yeah.
at least from the overheads that we've seen.
I remember one high forehand volley cooked a little too much. She's closed really well. Oh, just out of the outreached hands of Elizabeth Scotty.
Bit of a miscommunication there between Brent Meyer and Scotty, but
no, it's a good poach.
It's a good poach. Exactly. It's
better hands from Narundorn. So quick on that return. Did such a good job to just take it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Too good.
Down the lines, too solid.
And it's just a perfect setup, too, for Scotty. She's almost bunting down on those forehands. And so the first mini break belongs to the Heels.
Going for the same play, these two. Keeping it down the line.
Grant's ready.
Again, Scotty wishing that she would just kept that down the line rally going. But now we're tied at 2.
Also just a really good freaking volley from from Jeremy Nagrant to get that ball stuck so low. Oh, shotgun engaged.
And she just whipped that.
Reese Brantmeyer. I say she hit 100 on that forehand down the line.
Maybe 300.
On serve, 3-2. Tar Heels lead.
Yeah, Narendra and Grant doing a great job just putting all the balls in. Hardly making any unforced this set. Making the Tar Heels, yep. There we go. The Tar Heels a little bit streakier, but the question is, can they get hot at the right time?
It's well said. They're the aggressors. Although credit to my Narendra, who's just painting ball after ball down the line. Grant waiting so patiently
and again,
for that opportunity, to either pinch or get the put away volley.
Absolutely. And again, just to emphasize the importance of going down the line in a doubles match, it's both one of the most important shots and one of the hardest shots because you're going over the highest part of the net and you're seeing double. Two girls on the other side of the net with the net volleyer just ready to pick it off.
Very well said. I would also, though, implore everyone, keep an eye on Brantmeyer. She is just itching to cross at every moment. So fidgety with her footwork. It's a two-volley combo, and that's what I mean. Reese Brantmeyer is constantly looking to pinch over. And the poach there gives another mini break lead to the Tar Heels. But if you've been watching from the start, we know these Georgia Bulldogs aren't going anywhere.
Bulldogs getting a look at the Brantmeyer second serve. Still a big kick coming from her.
Great move. But that's what'll happen. And again, to your point, that's a testament to just making the ball you need to make. Make the return. Ask the question. It's 4-all. Let's go. Come on. As even as things could be. And the energy, the noise level, it's picking up here at Nordstrom.
Oh, we are hearing it. Each team 3 points away, claiming the doubles point.
It's gorgeous, Reese.
Oh, little hands.
It's gorgeous.
And again, I do feel like Reese almost has this, she does have this professionalism about her, right, Alex? I mean, the way that she just moved in there at 4-all, 6-all, court 1, it all comes down to this. She's a freshman. To just come up with that little volley. She knows exactly what she needs to do. Just bring the girls in. Again, Narendra and Grant want to stay at the baseline and grind out this Tar Heels team.
I don't know about Grant. Certainly Narendra.
Narendra. Good point. We're tied at 5.
Oh, no way. And she lands the overhead.
Refuse to lose.
Hands from Reese Brantmeyer. She unloads on a forehand, and it's match point Heels. Mine under doesn't miss. He says, "It's you guys do your thing up there. I'll be grinding from the back." Mine Arundoran, so solid. Grant with the put away. 6-all at the turn.
You know what I love, Alex, about Nurundoran is that she's not getting pushed back by the power of Brent Meyer and Scotty. Again, we've talked about this all weekend, using her legs, getting that power from the ground and absorbing that pace.
She's also just playing unequivocally as herself. She's not forcing it. She's not comfortable with it, and that's fine. Stay back. The depth, the angle she's creating. Grant's getting plenty of pinching opportunities. High-level doubles.
Absolutely.
6-all at the turn.
6-all, 6-all.
Let's go. It's there. Oh, is this good or what?
You know what, Alex? That's the only way that this Tar Heel team can win is if they literally pull the trigger during this rally, because these Bulldogs not going to miss from the baseline. They're just not going to miss.
That's why they're the three-time defending champs. It's North Carolina. 7-6 at the number one spot. And with that, it's a one-love lead for the Heels. Heading into our 6 singles matches, Perry. If that is any preview of what's to come. 1 hour into play. 1-0 Heels. Your thoughts?
First of all, the level of doubles that we saw, unbelievable. But I do want to emphasize, again, Georgia, North Carolina, we saw 2 different doubles teams. 7-6 in the third, 8-6 in the tiebreak for the deciding match. 2 different styles, right? Both girls not looking to do the same thing. And I love that. That's what makes the sport so interesting. But again, the Heels hitting through the ball from the first point, trying to get to net from the first point. It took tiebreak, it took 8-6 in the set, but they got rewarded for it. In the final moments, they got rewarded.
I've got one word for you. Gumption. Gumption from this North Carolina Tar Heel team. They were trailing for the first 35 minutes of doubles. Georgia served for the set on court number 1. And ultimately, the Tar Heels dig their way out of that jam. Now, again, for the second night in a row, someone else is going to get the flowers. But Abby Forbes, you have our attention. From 15-40, 4-all down in number 3, Abby Forbes grinds her way out of a service game. And just like that, the Heels are up 5-4. They escape for 6-4 at 3. That's your number 3 all-tournament team. No doubt in my mind. It's Forbes and Tran. That was the difference in this one, that fight. That's an old-fashioned barn burner, obviously, at that number 1 spot. But, of course, fantastic fight from the Bulldogs. Ultimately, the Tar Heels won love. Now, again, college tennis fans will know that doubles point felt very similar to the one we found a few weeks ago. Georgia was right there. Ultimately, the Tar Heels escaped with the doubles point. They took a 5-2 lead on that day, 5-2 win on that day. But let's see the fight Georgia has moving forward. Will this Georgia team respond? How will they respond? We'll find out over the course of the next few hours. Waiting for the announcement. What is our number 6 singles matchup? I see Riley Tran on court, and I see Annika Yarlagata walking to the number 5 spot. You know,
so is Scotty in or is Scotty out?
well,
That's
is
the
it
question.
Scotty? Is it Crawley? What am I missing? Because I do see Riley Tran walking out right now, and I see Yarla Gata on 5. Might we be Sans Elizabeth Scotty? We'll get that answer for all of you in a moment. That is the question moving forward. But right now, let's take this moment to talk to you about some of the people who helped make this National Indoor Championship possible. First and foremost, we talk about it. WTN, what the number? World Tennis Number, the official and exclusive official rating of the ITA and college tennis. The ITF World Tennis Number provides a global rating standard for tennis players, a 40-to-1 scale, with 40 being a beginner, 1 being an elite professional. The scale, it's for all players, regardless of age, gender, or ability. That means even you and I, Perry, can find ourselves with a WTN. Players will have separate WTNs for their singles and doubles rankings. Already 152 countries have agreed to become part of the WTN rating system, which now has 1.4 million player profiles on worldtennisnumber.com. Also, all college tennis players have been assigned a WTN, as the ITA shares college match results with the ITF. You can find WTNs for college players on the ITA's wearecollegetennis.com website. Of course, we can show you today's WTN matchups, brought to you by our dear friends at the World Tennis Number. We'll have super producer Daniel Westoff bring that graphic on our screen now, just to look at what the, again, offer you some context, what these World Tennis Numbers are at the moment. Okay, we don't have a graphic, but what we do have is that going into this match, the highest World Tennis Number belongs to Fiona Crawley. Crawley 5.59. Dasha Vidmanova then 7.31. Brampire 7.37. Ma 7.54.
And again, the lowest number is the quote-unquote highest rating. So again, Fiona Crawley with a 5.59 WTN. What the number for Fiona? It's less than 6.
What's her number? What the number?
What the number? Do you want my number? Yeah, it's 5.59, says Fiona Crawley. That's insane. Insane. Again, 1 is the highest level. 40 is a beginner. Crawley, 5.59.
So there you go. That's your World Tennis Number, of course. Shout out to our friends. A couple other places as well, whether it be the USTA, proud sponsors of so many things that happen in the college tennis world. There's more tennis to play, skills to hone, fun to be had. Go to USTA.com to become a USTA member today. Of course, Wilson, the official ball, racket, and accessory brand of the ITA. And then our dear friends at Tennis Point, who I see hopping in the chat as always. Shout out Nate Walrath, the entire Tennis Point team. Tennis Point, of course, the title sponsor of the ITA Collegiate Tennis Rankings, Tennis Point Summer Circuit, and the official retail partner of the ITA. I know we have graphics for the rankings. So if we can, super producer Daniel Westoff, can you show me the singles rankings, please? Singles rankings. As of right now, these are your Tennis Point ITA singles rankings. You see Fiona Crawley currently coming in at number 1. Carson Gillig at the 9 spot. Now, you don't see any Georgia Bulldogs currently. Liam Ah's going to be there soon. That's a promise, Georgia Bulldog fans. And if Dasha Vidmanova is not in there by the end of the season, you guys can have all of the money in my pocket. Meanwhile, let's go to the doubles rankings, just for what it's worth. Again, you look right now, this Tar Heel team, Crawley Gillig at the number 1 spot. Of course, they got knocked off at number 2 doubles today. That just speaks to the depth, the parity we see in college tennis. But with that said, all right, we've got lineups out on courts. You know who I do not see on court today? It's true. Elizabeth Scotty pulled from the singles lineup. You know, you and Jay mocked me. You mocked me when I suggested this on the car ride over from the hotel earlier today. I said, let the record show. As we head to court number 1, let the record show. I said, I don't know if we're going to see Scott back.
Jay and I did roll our eyes.
Played a really physical 3-set match against JC Goldsmith yesterday. Had her legs worked on during that 3rd set as well. And I said,
as Alex hits the paper onto the table here.
It's not you. It's
Nordstrom
Jay.
Tennis Center.
John Parsons.
Oh, of course. It's Jay's fault, not mine. Even though Jay and I both roll our eyes.
I demand a public apology for that, because the mockery I experienced in the car
join the Zoom link and apologize.
And for the record, this is the luxury these Tar Heels, of course, have. You have 7 top 30 players.
Of course.
You're not fully healthy.
6 players who have played number 1.
Mm-hmm. And so we start out on court number 1. It's a rematch. Number 1, Fiona Crawley. Now number 19, Leah Ma. Laughing because Archit Suresh writes in, mocking me could be a national pastime for college tennis fans. That's a very good point, Archit. Very good point. That's why we do this job.
It's a national pastime for me. Always a good time here at Nordstrom Tennis Center.
Of course, the last time these two played, again, Leah Ma, 2-6, 7-6, 6-1. She knocked off Crawley. It's been a fantastic tournament for Ma, 2-0-1 overall. That one sails a little bit long there. Again, Crawley, the junior, Ma, the 4th year. I say 4th year because in the COVID era,
we don't know.
You just never know. Well, let me ask you, what's the difference in this one? What do you see in here, Perry?
I see Crawley with her accuracy and her experience being able to find the Ma backhand. And if she can find the Ma backhand, work the point off the Ma backhand, and then have Ma hitting a running forehand, that's Crawley's shot at winning this match. And I also think for Ma, conversely, if Ma's able to find forehands, if Ma is able to make Crawley uncomfortable, push her back, because again, physically looking at these two girls, Ma does have the height advantage. So if she can push Crawley back off the baseline, we're seeing Crawley use her legs there to stay right on the baseline. It's a tough matchup for Ma unless you can push Crawley back, get her uncomfortable, get her on defense, and there we go. Ma just sprays that a little long because Crawley will do that all day, Alex. She'll stay on the baseline all day, just absorbing your power, absorbing your pace, and daring you to go for too much like that.
The word disciplined comes to mind. Extraordinarily disciplined is Fiona Crawley. You imagine that much more so when you're playing in front of brother and sis, right?
Of course, of course. Fiona Crawley, when she joined me on the Rise podcast, she was on a ski vacation with her family in Colorado. And so her family now here in Seattle, Washington, watching her compete.
You know you've made it in tennis when you get the Crawley ski invite. It's a rite of passage for a generation of tennis players.
I mean, have not gotten that yet,
yeah,
but
nor have we're like 3 good broadcasts away. 3 broadcasts away as we head now to the number 2 singles position. Grab your popcorn, lock in. This is going to be a doozy. Reese Brantmeyer clinched the match for the Heels on day number 1. Brantmeyer went over Janice Chen of Pepperdine at that number 1 single spot. She plays a 3-set match with Kari Miller, goes unfinished against Michigan in the quarterfinals. Then yesterday was just amazing in a straight set win over Mary Stoyana. And yet, as of right now, my most outstanding player of this 2023 National Indoors is Dasha Vidmanova, the sophomore for the University of Georgia. The size, the length, the athleticism.
And the versatility.
Yes.
That is what comes to mind. Because you see Dasha Vidmanova in person and you're saying, okay, power hitter, you got to move her, you got to mix up the pace. No, Vidmanova will both move and mix up the pace herself. She can do all 3. Vidmanova is a chameleon out there, chameleon with pace.
Mm-hmm. And of course, again, Vidmanova also undefeated, wins over Yepafinova,
where she had to grind through, having nearly 13 match point chances.
Win over Carmen Corley, and then yesterday, a really impressive win over Obi Kajurder of Iowa State. I believe she's yet to drop a set as well.
Vidmanova here, looking to hold in the opening game against Reese Brantmeyer, a player who's reached the 2nd round of the U.S. Open doubles.
And again, it's strength on strength of every matchup in the building. This is the one I'm most looking forward to. And when they played last time, Vidmanova 2-6, 6-4, 6-3 win over Brantmeyer. Again, for both of these players, all the chips are in. This is the future of college tennis right here on court number 2. Ooh, we have a lineup switch for the Bulldogs that if I was smarter, I would have seen earlier. We'll get there as we get down further in the lineup. There is something worth noting. So it's an early deciding point and a critical one. Yeah, that's why the future's so bright for Dasha. Can grind, can find that big serve to get herself out of a jam. 1-all at 2. So let's move over to the number 3 spot now. And it was the hero for the Tar Heels yesterday, Carson Tangillig, superstar sophomore, facing a fellow superstar sophomore. Again,
Absolutely.
You talk about the future of college tennis. Tangillig Riasco could very well be an NCAA individual quarterfinal someday. Riasco, the sophomore lefty, has gotten progressively better, in my opinion, throughout the course of this national indoor event. But look, she's facing the player who clinched 7-6 in the third yesterday for the Heels in sophomore Carson Tangillig. That's how you say that name. Now, the big thing here, serving moniker a bit off. Tangillig returning on the far side of your screen. Georgia rocking the all-black look. Also, shout out to super producer Daniel Westoff. 3 days in a row, we'd started out singles where the transition was off, and number 3 singles, which is labeled as number 2. He got it right today. So, again,
that is
all
why
working
he's
to
the super
improve.
producer.
Exactly.
And there you go, Alex. On day 4, I will be grammatically incorrect for you.
He guaranteed it. He guaranteed that he would get it right today. And shout out to him. He did.
That's the joy, right, of a 4-day tournament. By day 4,
we're all winning.
We're all winning.
There are wins on the board for everyone.
I mean, Alex, so rare for me to make it to the last day of a tournament, and I guess this is the only way I can do that.
It's funny.
Hands.
Wheels. I like it. I'm in.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just all the way. This is a match with so much athleticism. I think so much variety, too. And I'll tell you this. Heavy topspin lefty to that backhand of Carson Tangillig. Don't you kind of love that matchup for Riasco?
Absolutely. And I do think also for Riasco, I mean, a player who, as you said, has improved throughout the weekend. I mean, this could be her peak performance match, right? This could be the match where she says, okay, I want to go out here on a high. I want to go out here on a high here in Seattle. And I mean, the way that Riasco has been improving, really, Alex, has been by putting more balls in, because Riasco is going to grind you down. Oh, my gosh. That just barely misses.
No, overruled.
Overruled. It doesn't miss.
And Riasco is going to look to coach. He's not going to have too much to say. Far sideline, so tough. And that's the furthest court from our broadcast booth. Still, it's 2-love for the sophomore Carson Tangillig. Earned a 4-2 win when these two faced off in Chapel Hill earlier this season. Let's go to court number 4 now, and this is where the lineup change becomes relevant. Meg Kowalski had a rough day yesterday. Yeah. Love and Love lost to Kadlikova.
Now, again, Alex, though, had gone on a 9-0 winning streak heading up to this match yesterday. So.
But now down to the number 5 spot. That's the adjustment. Anya Hurdle, who earned a very impressive straight set victory yesterday. Hurdle's up. She's playing number 4. She'll get the ask of UCLA All-American Abby Forbes, who feels like there should be a rule in the ITA handbook that it's illegal to play Forbes at the 4 singles position, yet that's where she finds herself today.
Agreed.
Forbes John J. Parsons, silent MVP of yesterday's semifinal win from 4-love down in the third set. She just lingered and allowed her teammates to get through the finish line. Ultimately didn't finish. But again, we talk about it so frequently. Sometimes it's just as valuable not to lose for your team as it is to win.
100%. Forbes doing that so beautifully yesterday, staying on the court, grinding down a freshman that, Alex, you and I, we think have a high upside. I mean, high.
And Mia Kupras, no doubt.
Right.
A&M freshman. But I'll tell you this, I have been so impressed with Hurdle, who, not to evoke the Georgia great lightly, it's like Katarina Jokic 0.85.
I like it.
Not quite the sting, but it's close. And she gets after the forehand. She's going to play aggressively, which is something you need to do against Forbes.
Again, at the 4 spot. This is the 4 spot, Alex. A freshman going in at 4, huge.
And I'll tell you what, I just have a sneaky feeling. First of all, you'd much rather beat the Tar Heels now.
Yes.
Having taken that momentum, 4 singles victories for them yesterday. There's no doubt if you're doing the 538 numbers, 72% lean Tar Heel, I would say at this point, if not maybe even slightly higher. But if Georgia's going to sneak out a comeback today, I actually think this is the spot where they're going to get an upset. I really have liked what I've seen from Hurdle indoors. This is just one of those sneaky inclinations like, oh, I don't know, Scotty's not going to play today. This is one of them. I'm putting that name on the line where if Georgia wins, Hurdle's one of them.
I like it. I think it's a hot take, though.
Yeah.
I think it's a hot take, and I'm going to disagree with you for the second time and hopefully not be wrong for the second time.
Please do, and tell me why.
Because I feel like Abby Forbes is just the bluest blood, and you know what? She's the queen of this court 4, Alex. So we're in the broadcast booth here, and that is the farthest court, but Abby Forbes, her presence, her ability to hang in on this court 4, I mean, I'm in, and I buy it, and if I'm head coach Brian Calbus, I'm not worried about Forbes. It doesn't matter if she's down 4-love in the third set. That was yesterday. She came back yesterday. I mean, to me, also the way that Forbes plays, right? She plays a perfect 4 position because she doesn't have the super weapons to be a 1 or 2 on this team, on the Tar Heels team. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. On basically any other team in the country, she'd be playing 1. But she also has that versatility. She's able to move. She's able to anticipate. And that's what I think puts her perfectly at 4.
So let me just say, you're right. Like, I agree with you. I'm just saying, look, Georgia's got to find 4. Like, it's got to come somewhere.
Right.
And I just, with how well she's been playing, I think Hurdle has to be one of those 4 today.
Oh, of course. I mean,
but that sails on her. I apologize. 2-1 here for Forbes. So we'll head over to court number 5.
Oh, no. And I was just going to say that the question is not if Georgia needs 4. It's where they can find 4.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this would be one you'd have to find. Meanwhile, here at the number 5 spot, again, this is where you feel the manifestation of all the lineup changes. It's Annika Yarlagada, number 12 in the country, ITA All-American semifinalist, who, let's be abundantly clear, did not play bad yesterday. And she's 2-1 overall for the event. Did not play bad against Daria Smetnikov. Smetnikov just beat her in 3.
Smetnikov was bunny at 6.
Smetnikov looks like a top 100 player.
Yes. And as you aptly said this morning, Alex, that kind of looked like a number 1 singles match yesterday. And Alex and I saw that to the left of our broadcast booth, right close to us, at the number 6 spot. Smetnikov taking on Yarlagada yesterday. And right, as you said, although Yarlagada did drop that one in 3 sets, I thought she showed great resiliency. And watch Yarlagada's mind this match, her smarts. She has this tennis IQ that I love to see. She's able to figure it out there within a point, within a game. Her adjustments, one of the best.
And she's sneaky aggressive, Kowalski, redirecting. She's just very frenetic, very twitchy is the word.
Yes.
Twitchy out on court. And so, again, it's a fun contrast here. But you see, Kowalski gets that break back. Okay. 2-1. Back on serve here on court number 5. Certainly, again, for the veteran Kowalski. Played a massive part of Georgia's 4-3 victory over UNC back in 2019 in these indoor finals, which, a reminder, 9th time Georgia has made this national indoor final as a program. First time since 2019 when they won the title here over North Carolina. Meanwhile, for the Tar Heels, just 9 consecutive national indoor finals.
Nonchalantly.
No, that's why Coach Calbus says, yeah, I love this event. We always get 4 good matches. It's like, no, you always get 4 good matches. Everyone
The only
else just
team
gets
entering
3.
this tournament that says that.
Exactly. So now we move to the number 6 spot, and this is where, again, that depth for both of these teams. You didn't know what the 6 singles matchup would be. Right now it's Riley Tran taking on Jeremina Grant. Grant, a 3-set clinching win for the Bulldogs yesterday to help them advance over Iowa State. Tran earned a clinching win over Michigan back in the quarterfinals. That's Riley Tran for a nutshell. Finds the inside out, swinging forehand winner. What are you looking at in this matchup?
I'm thinking about what we talked about earlier. Our car ride over here. Alex, we should have recorded it. It should have been part of the preview podcast.
Sure.
Here today that you, of course, you can find on Cracked Rackets. But I do like I like Tran coming off of a doubles win and heading into singles. I do think with a player like her, she needs that confidence heading into the singles because she doesn't always play 6 for the Tar Heels. She's not always in the lineup. So coming off a doubles win, again, from experience, being on the brink of always not playing on my own team, coming off a doubles win is so important. And we're seeing Tran, she got on the board, down 2-1, but I'm not sure about how she's going to match up against a Grant who is so powerful, who is so aggressive, who's looking to take any ball that Tran doesn't hit perfectly and just rip it.
And I do think from a matchup perspective, as we see Grant with the early 2-1 lead, Grant's willingness to dictate, to get to the net, take time away from Tran. How will Tran respond to that, particularly indoors? Now, again, this was not a matchup we saw last time. Tran earned a 3-set win at the number 6 spot, but it was over Anastasia Lapata. And again, today it's the sophomore Gigi Jeremina Grant in that spot. So that's everything. Those are all 6 of your matches. Now we get to flex the muscles, and it's still very early everywhere. There's only 1 break lead. Let's go to it. Let's go 1, 2, and 3. Let's just start with the top dogs. 1 in the big screen.
Let's do it.
2 and 3 on the side. As we get rocking and rolling here, singles action at these ITA finals.
Now Crawley has 3-1 lead here, first set on court 1. And again, something to watch about Crawley, it's just her relentless energy out there. I mean, we can talk about this in singles or doubles, Crawley, on both of those courts, obviously, for the Tar Heels, but when we're seeing her in singles, just seeing her in person here at Nordstrom, she is bouncy. She is ready to go. Does not matter if she won or lost the last point. 15-all, Crawley and Ma. Meanwhile, Ma doing everything she can now to get Crawley off the baseline. Crawley just refusing. You see her just holding down the baseline there so beautifully. That one sails long. Leah Ma has put in her hours on the court this weekend. First day, notching a 3-set win over Connie Ma from Stanford. Again, that was the battle of the Ma's, and Leah was able to just hang in, and get that forehand rip. Again, Crawley winning basically everything there was to win. Literally winning everything there was to win in the fall, going undefeated on the singles court for the Tar Heels, capturing the ITA All-American Championship and the ITA Fall Nationals on the singles court. Obviously reaching finals doubles at that event as well. With teammate Carson Tangulig. This would be a crucial hold for Crawley, just to really establish herself here in the first set. Establish herself as, hey, I'm the #1 singles player in the country, and this is why. But Ma now with 2 break point chances on court 1. Meanwhile, checking in with crazy battle, court 2. Goodman over Brantmeyer. Brantmeyer leads 3-2. There we go. Ma breaks. Crawley with the 3-2 lead, though, still. Again, it's going to be tough for Ma just to break the Crawley momentum. Make Crawley doubt. Make Crawley have any doubt on the court because we haven't seen this, Alex, this weekend. Crawley obviously having to miss day one of this competition because of wisdom tooth issues, which we sympathize with. But then, of course, like a champ, right back in there on day two and has not really been pushed this weekend.
I believe there was an emergency dental surgery about 5 days ago.
Wow.
So from that to the number one singles position where she's yet to lose this weekend. It's a good start for Crawley. But now you see here, court number 5, Yarlagadda back out front by a break. And it's the aggression Yarlagadda plays with indoors. I'll tell you, bred on those indoor, quick, hard courts of West Bloomfield, Michigan, you learn how to move forward.
And Alex, you know that. Alex Gruskin has a win over Yarlagadda.
Not one. Many.
Many
wins.
Countless wins.
The 11-year-old Annika Yarlagadda had nothing on senior instructor Alex Gruskin feeding millions of forehands.
But it's cool, though. You have an inside look at our game.
No, it's great, and it was great to get to catch up with the Yarlagadda family.
Absolutely. Got to meet Mr. Yarlagadda today. I had never played Annika in juniors, which is probably good for me.
Well, I think the whole thing is just, again, for Annika, who could have hit the transfer portal and had 100 offers, but instead decided to stick it out, wait for her turns at those 5, 6 singles positions. And look, to be the best, you got to compete with the best. That's what the opportunity she has at Carolina. Game point chances here. She takes on a Kowalski, who, as we established earlier, don't count Meg Kowalski out, especially after yesterday. You feel like there's a bounce back for Kowalski.
And again, we did talk about this a little bit this weekend.
As you see, the Yarlagadda hold 4-4-1. Let's put court number 2 in the big screen and make court number 2 court number 4, please.
And Kowalski did win 9 matches in a row to open up this spring, and she lost 0-0 yesterday. So one would have to think that she actually has some energy left in the tank, maybe more than these other girls that she can just call on. Because, again, I mean, if you lose 0-0, no offense, but you don't hit as many balls, right? And so she might have those fresh legs. At number 5 singles. Again, taking on a player that has played multiple hours on court this weekend.
And now we go back to the barn burner, the heavyweight bout. Talib versus Frazier. Brantmeyer versus Vidmanova. 3-all. First set. Again, right now looking across the board, there's only 1 break lead. It's Annika Yarlagadda 4-1 at 5. Everything else is on serve. That's a lie because they have the scoring marker wrong at 6. So everything on serve except for the end, 5 and 6. Carolina up a break on 5. It's the Huskies up the break on 6. Huskies, the Bulldogs. It's the scoreboard.
It does say Huskies.
Yeah,
it does say Huskies.
They're both dogs.
Alex, not your fault. It literally says Huskies. And again,
I'll get the.
There we go.
I know. I've got the dog. Yeah, I've got the dog bark down because I've heard these fans do it for 4 straight days.
You know, Alex, I thought we would escape the dog bark today, but we didn't. You were able to incorporate it.
A husky may be different from a bulldog. The way the fans bark is not different. There's no
correct.
differentiation.
There is no differentiation in bark. Now, of course, we would have wondered what if they had faced off this weekend. We would have. We would have had a lot of it.
Yeah, that's just no. It's in the rules.
Unspoken rule.
Yeah, and you see again. It's curious here. You know what you're getting with Brantmeyer, right? She'll just continue to attack. Will this force Dasha to be more aggressive? Because the difference between a Brantmeyer and a Corley, and even a Brantmeyer and a Yepifanova, Brantmeyer wants to be finishing those points at the net. Yepifanova was so hesitant moving forward. Carmen was a little bit more willing, just didn't quite have the juice that Reese has.
That's interesting. Again, I do think in here, you'll see in a second, Brantmeyer just running up to net on not even a good approach shot. I'm just going to be honest. It's because Brantmeyer has such good darn volleys. And so I'm not sure what Vidmanova would do in that position. I mean, I'm not sure what really any player, I guess if we just talk generically, how do you beat a Reese Brantmeyer?
Sure.
I would say, first of all, hope she misses her volleys that day. That would really help. But The second thing is depth. Of course, depth, because Brantmeyer is going to take any ball early and she's going to run into net. So you just have to hope and just get the ball deep enough, and there we go. As Vidmanova just starts to press a little bit. Pressing is what Brantmeyer makes you do, because if the ball goes short, Brantmeyer's going to hit it and come in her transition game. Alex, would you say her transition game is maybe the best that we've seen this weekend? I would say one of the best.
Yeah,
in the top two.
And for the way you framed it was perfect. How she transitions moving forward. It's not just that she overwhelms you with her approach. She is maybe the best volleyer in college, but it's how aggressive and precise she is with her footwork moving forward.
Correct. Again, two-step for Brantmeyer.
4-3 lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's make court number 2 5, as 5 is the one racing towards the finish line right now here in the opening set. Annika Yarlagada has she's found the rhythm. She's found the number, found whatever it is to allow her to create some early separation. I would point out Hurdle game point chances as she keeps pace at 4. You see 3 all on 3. It's good tennis everywhere. Ooh. Can you make court 3, court 1, please? Court 3, court 1, West up. It's a deuce point, break point chance for Crawley.
Yarlagada
It's the ball she
forces
wanted.
that a little. Right. Of course. And I mean, again, when you're up 4-1, 30 love, you can afford to do that. That's okay. And I do like that Yarlagada is actually stepping in when she's ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have talked to you about this, Alex, multiple times this weekend, that it's very easy when you're ahead to play a little bit more time to try to protect that lead. But let's see if Yarlagada continues to step in, because that is what has gotten her to this position here against Kowalski.
Mm-hmm. By the way, it's a Carolina push on 1. Crawley retakes the 4-2 break lead. Forward with a break point chance at 4 now.
Now, one thing to notice is head coach Brian Calbus has not really left Fiona Crawley's side over the last 2 matches so far that we've seen. And again, Crawley talking about how close their bond is, really how much Coach Calbus has helped her develop as a player on this court.
Mm-hmm. Huge hold from Hurdle. 3 all now on 4. Ooh, let's make 4-6. It's a deuce point chance for Riley Tran as she looks to break back. Meanwhile, again, feels like it's a borderline set point here for Yarlagada.
Yes. I like that borderline set point.
Yeah.
Not on the score, but perhaps in spirit.
Exactly. It's indoor tennis.
Backhand is money.
Really good stuff from Annika Yarlagada. 5-1 lead for the Heels on 5. Meanwhile, that's a massive approach and hold for Gigi. Jeremina Grant. Something for Georgia fans. This Georgia team looking up at the scoreboard. We've got 1 lead, and we're close pretty much everywhere else. Again, it's act number 2 of this final. Georgia fights their tail off. They were the better team for 40 minutes in doubles. But in the end, Carolina sneaks out that doubles point. I don't want to say it was robbery, because Scotty and Brett.
No, that wasn't highway robbery.
They earned it down the home stretch. But, man, if you're Georgia, at least 3 first sets in singles, right?
I mean, yeah.
Although, worth noting, last year, Carolina dropped doubles, 4 first sets in singles before they came back and flipped the script on Oklahoma.
So again, what we're trying to say is the finals, all the rules go out the window.
The difference is they're Carolina.
Right.
3-time defending, national indoor champs, 9-time finalists consecutively.
And Alex, I've talked about this with elite athletes. I haven't talked about this as much in my broadcasting career, at least with elite teams, but we're seeing Carolina maybe one of the first elite teams that has an aura. Mm-hmm. When Carolina walks in the room, you know they're there. Now, Texas actually had that as well this weekend, and I did talk about that even when Texas was warming up during another match. I was saying, all right, the air has shifted. Texas is here. With Carolina, not only does the air shift, but they come with, 40, 50 fans behind them. I mean, we're in Seattle, Washington. We're in the corner of the country, and Carolina has followed the Tar Heels here to Nordstrom Tennis Center.
Well, they get to book their trip a year in advance.
Right, and book the 4-night hotel stay a year in advance.
A year ago, a flight here cost $150.
I know. It's always good to have that fan base, have that alumni engagement in a program. Again, so special.
So again, Yarlagana closing in now, 3 points away from the set. You see on court number 1. Fiona Crawley, game point chance for 5-2. Ooh, can we make court 6 court 4, please? 6 becomes court 4. Right now, Anya Hurdle's got herself a break point chance. Simultaneously, all right, deuce point coming up for Crawley. No, excuse me. Deuce point coming up. No, Brandmeier straight up broke. Wow. So this is one of those moments here.
Again, that watching Brandmeier, not sure if you agree,
Just
but
trying to figure out where we should throw that.
Oh, good point.
It's pretty critical right now everywhere.
Right.
Brandmeier did break for 5-3 Westhoff.
Maybe we keep it until
Yeah, I was going to say,
the set's done on 5, if it does finish here.
And
Again.
it's a deuce point coming up at 4. Deuce point goes the way of Abby Forbes. So 4-3 now. Oh, no, excuse me. There's a deuce point coming up.
Again, we're a bit ahead of the broadcast, so we'll do our best to not predict the future for you. Just like Jason Leon does for us, predicting the future all weekend. Jason, shout out for you.
So it's a game point chance here coming up. Forbes does hold 4-4-3. So let's make that court 2, please. Reese Brandmeier will serve for the set.
Yarlagana now. 4 set points. Or 3 set points.
Meanwhile, it is now a deuce point coming up for Fiona Crawley.
All of a sudden, Alex, we're kind of seeing the Tar Heels start to get these first sets on the board, and it's all happening at once.
So Yarlagana does take the 6-1 set at court number 5. Put 2 on the big screen, please. As right now, Reese Brandmeier looking to serve for the set. Meanwhile, Leomont does break back. So 4-3 in a couple of different spots. Ooh, but Carson Tangillick, let's go 3-1, please. 3 on court 1 as Carson Tangillick, or 3 on court 2. Thank you, Westhoff. You can leave 1 on the screen for now. Or make court number 1, court number 6, please. But right now, you see Brandmeier, a bit of a hole. 15-30, serving for the set. Same thing happened to her yesterday against Stoyana.
Right.
Serve for the set, got broken. Now ended up breaking Stoyana in the subsequent game.
Great point.
But serving out sets always going to be difficult early in your college career. And honestly, just always.
Well, and I can also say, Alex, Brandmeier has something that not many other players do, which is that explosive return to serve. So it takes a little bit of pressure off your serve, especially at a top 2 position, because if you don't get that game, you have a good chance of breaking, especially if the girl isn't putting her first serves in. If she's a little nervous against Brandmeier, that second serve, she's going to approach it and come in. Eyes on Brandmeier at this point. Yeah. Brandmeier.
That's not bad. Not too bad, is it?
It's fine.
Oh, drop shot volley combination there. Fights off breakpoint chance number 1. Still 2 to come here for Vidmanova as she looks to extend this first set. As you can see on your other courts now, Carson Tangillick is serving for the set 5-3. Only lead right now for these Georgia Bulldogs on court number 6, where Gigi Jeremy Grant continues her successful foray at the 6th spot. 4-3 lead over Tran. But now it's a deuce point. It's a set point. It's a deciding point for Reese Brantmeyer on 2. This is where you feel like if the Heels play a good next 10 minutes, they can put this match away.
Absolutely. Critical time for the Bulldogs. Second serve for Brantmeyer, I say. We go for the kick. There it is.
Yeah, that's all the angles. Gorgeous backhand cross to set up the overhead. And what did she do with that overhead, Perry? She put it away.
Yes.
And so there you go. First set for the Heels on 2. Let's put 3 on the big screen, please. Make court number 4 court number 3, but we'll put 3 on the big screen now as Carson Tangillig serving for the set. It's the sophomore again taking on fellow superstar sophomore Mel Riasco.
Riasco, one of the most physical hitters here in the NCAA. I mean, you just see her play, and you're saying, wow, this girl's putting all of her body into every single shot.
First, a massive thank you to our friends at PlaySite, official live stream partner of the ITA, providing the camera footage you see on your screen today.
And, of course, California Sports Surfaces, the official court surface of the ITA. And while we're on that note, Ground Rule, the preferred facility services agency of the ITA. Thank you to all of the sponsors who've made this possible.
Absolutely.
Riasco getting a look at the second serve.
Don't love that choice.
No.
It's a tentative move from Riasco, chopping that forehand, immediately retreating to the baseline. Credit to Tangillig, jumping on her in that moment.
And again, with Riasco, with the game of Riasco, who I can relate a little bit to this, of course, not at the extremely high level that Riasco has reached, but if you don't hit the ball deep enough with a game like Riasco's, hitting that loopy deep ball, if it starts to go loopy and short, you're going to be in trouble, especially at the number 3 singles spot in the finals of Indoor Nationals. Now Carson missed that, but again, that was in the service box. If I was Riasco right now, I'd say, all right, we've got to see if we can get a little more depth here. Start pushing Tangillig back.
Oh, wow. Meanwhile, on court 6, Jeremy Grant channeling her inner Iga Swiatek. You see the arms flaring.
Love it.
Net. Good volley, though. Helps her hold on a deuce point, 4-5-3. Again, that's the one bright spot right now for these Bulldogs. Abby Forbes getting point chances for 5-4. It is a break point chance here for Riasco, though.
And Riasco breaks. 5-4. Tangillig leads at the 3 singles spot.
So let's make court number 1 the big screen, please. Fiona Crawley, a ridiculous little half volley. We may catch the back end of it here on your camera. We'll make 1 the big screen. Ridiculous half volley. Sets up another deuce point, break point chance. As she leads 4-3. Yeah, you see her giggling. It's because it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so now deuce point, match point, deuce point, break point chance. Again, right now only 2 first sets off the board. Courts 2 and 5. They both belong to the Tar Heels.
too tough.
What it should look like at the #1 single spot. And Fiona Crawley reminding all of us why she's the #1 player in the country. Crawley breaks and will serve for the set. Up 5-3. You see on your court, on your screen right now, fives everywhere in these stages of the first set. Westoff, let's switch 1 and 4. 1 and 4, just a flip flop here. As we look across the board, right now, Abby Forbes is 2 points away from the set. So you may indeed be correct, Perry. And for the record, I never thought you would be wrong about anything.
Oh,
I just,
thanks.
again, you're welcome. I think, again, Hurdle has got to be one of the players today who step up, who's shown it's within her on this Georgia roster to do so.
Completely. And I have to say, I mean, Hurdle has impressed me so much this weekend, and in no way was that a dig on Hurdle. It was more just really just kind of retweeting Abby Forbes' toughness and, as you said, maybe the quiet hero for the Tar Heels.
That one. Shout out to our friend John J. Parsons. Labeled her that in our pregame show. All right. Again, I don't want to say the breaking point, but we've all watched a lot of college tennis here. And right now it's set point chances coming up on 4. Again, the bright spot, I suppose, if you are a Georgia Bulldog fan, Gigi's got set points on 6 for the Bulldogs. But again, 5-3 Crawley over Ma. Set points here for Forbes. And that is a first set, so that's 3. They're halfway there. Courts 2, 4, 5. First sets belong to the Tar Heels. 6-4 for Abby Forbes. Let's make it that switch again. Let's put court 1 on the big screen. And we'll just stay with our final first set action. So we'll make court #1 court at the big screen and then make 1-3 on the side, please. So we'll watch the ending of our first sets.
You know, Alex, it feels like Tar Heels are a little bit more than halfway there at this point in the match. Now, again, anything can change, and I feel like we're entering that third act, so we're going to have to see. The Bulldogs put together this final surge, take a final stand against the Tar Heels, who have not rolled at all in this match, but again, they're starting to get some distance.
Meanwhile, Riley Tran fights off 1 set point. Can she fight off another? Keep an eye on that. Actually, Westoff, can you switch 1 and 6? I know Crawley's serving for it. But it is set point Gigi, and we have an order of operations to respect here. We haven't come all week long not to respect the game.
Of course, of course. I mean, Alex and I, both students of the game.
Exactly.
Of course we respect it.
Come on now.
Lifetime students of the game.
Georgia fans sitting at home saying, show us something to get the rally going. That's a huge hold from Tran. And again, they're just trying to close off every avenue. It does feel like this is the 5 to 10 minute, 5 to 20 minute stretch where if Carolina can just close the door, dare I say, suffocate this Georgia team on every court. Now, for what it's worth, though, Georgia lost the doubles. They lost 5 first sets in singles when these two teams faced off in Chapel Hill. They made that quite the match, as ultimately you had 4 of the 6 singles matches going 3 sets. So this script feels very similar.
Interesting.
As you see 5, 4, and 6. Can you put 1 in the big box, please? 1 in the big box, as Leah Ma obviously has herself a breakpoint chance.
And again, a quick time check. We are less than 2 hours into this match, and Rolex, the official timepiece of the ITA.
All right, it's breaks everywhere. On court #1, we keep trading them back and forth. Crawley, I guess, up that hold. So she does have a 5-4 lead, but Leah Ma staying alive on 1. Game point chances coming up for Tan Gillig on 3. Let's put 6 in the big screen. We'll just keep switching between 6 and 1 right now. Again, want to stay to the end of these first sets. Right now, Annika Yarlagata is up 6-1, 2-love for the Tar Heels at 5. 3 first sets off the board, all of them belonging to North Carolina. And for what it's worth, we're not, if you're a Tar Heel fan, do not start counting those chickens. Whatever the hatch.
No, they have not
analogy
hatched.
is,
They
there
have
it
not
is.
hatched. They're
Yes.
still in the egg.
Yes, keep the eggs on ice. For what it's worth, no team has ever won this National Indoor Championship 4 years in a row. That's the history we're playing for today.
And again, just watch Tran's energy. All of a sudden, she seems to just have exploded with her energy, with her physicality out here.
She's also got Tar Heel blue tape on her shoulder.
Yes, I noticed that. I feel like North Carolina is the kind of thing where literally every single thing is Tar Heel blue.
For that passing shot, she looks pretty fit there. Tran, passing shot. She looks to again break to extend the set on 1. This could be the backbreaker. You can't come out with 0 first sets if you're Georgia. That is pack the bag, start the plane. This match might be over sort of stuff.
Don't get in the plane, just start it.
No. Honestly, you can start loading the plane.
Alex is like, get in the plane, get in it.
Yeah, exactly. Doubles and 6 first set. I'm just saying, like this, if you're Georgia, it's got to be right now.
Totally.
And it's got to be somewhere. I'm just looking around. Ma on 1. It's these 3. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Hi, Jamie. Jamie goes, Carolina blue. Instead of Tar Heel blue. Thank you, Jamie. Oopsies. Tar Heel blue. That was still just the spirit in the school is really what we're feeling here.
Again, you see right now Grant serving for the set. Ma Riasco for Georgia serving to stay in it. Alex Gruskin, Perry Shinen here. We approach 3rd hour of play. National Indoor Championship match. Right now it is all North Carolina. 3 first sets and singles in the bag. Dramatic doubles point. Breaking their way as well as Elizabeth Scotty and Reese Brantmeyer take a 7-6 decision at the number 1 spot.
Brand just playing goalie here.
That's too good from Gigi. Sets up a first set point chance here for this Georgia team. And I mean, again, the irony. Georgia went to Chapel Hill, dropped a dramatic doubles point, dropped 5 first sets in singles. As of right now, it's looking awfully similar here today.
And Abby Forbes just took the first set on 4 after taking the first set 6-1.
All right, that's 1 fought off by Tran.
And again, talk about blue bloods. Both of these teams have over 5 players that have been to this event before. Thanks for Andrew Roy for that stat.
All right, set point coming up for Crawley at 1. Again, just looking here as Grant's got the set point on 6, but Westhoff, you see it if you want to go full on 1 for the set point. Should Grant get done soon, you have the green light. 2 set points coming up for Crawley.
I'm looking for that double-handed backhand return.
But just undercooks the overhead, so Gigi makes it a 6-4 first set for the Bulldogs on 6. Meanwhile, can Leah Ma extend this set again on 1?
Scrambling.
Crawley overcooks it. So Ma does manage to extend the set. Meanwhile, we missed it. Well, actually, let's quickly go to 3. Quickly to 3. Yeah, there it is. Carson Tangillick does make it 4 first sets for the Heels. And it's the heart of the lineup. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All breaking the way of the Heels. First set on 6 belongs to Jeremina Grant of Georgia. Let's go triple box, 1 in the main. Let's put 4 and 5 on the sides. Though for what it's worth, on court number 2, Dasha Vidmanova, 3-love lead, single break. As expected, the sophomore will not go away. So again, Carolina has him right where you want him. Doubles, 4 first sets. But let's again remember last season where we were in this exact same position, and it was right about now that North Carolina started to make their push. Again, it almost has to be now for the Bulldogs, and it probably starts as expected with Ma Vidmanova at 1 and 2.
Again, Vidmanova, player that has impressed us both a ton this weekend and takes the early 3-love lead in the second set.
It's very calm right now. It's worth noting here in Nordstrom, there's not that kinetic energy that was so palpable at the end of the doubles point. That's gone now. Everyone's focused at the task at hand. Everyone sees how long the race still is to the finish line.
Yes. It's a marathon for sure. But again, Carolina with the upper hand right now in this marathon.
Well, you're waiting for that buzz, right? That,
yes.
Oh my God, we're 2 points away, or oh my God, we started winning some singles matches. And we're still not at that moment yet.
No.
It's still a climb up the mountain for both of these teams.
Agreed.
Although, you see it on your screen, that climb might not take much longer for Annika Yarligata. She's 6'1", love up, cruising at that 5 spot.
Yarligata, really great mental energy too this weekend. Had a win over my sister, Bailey Shinen from Michigan, and then, of course, yesterday falling in 3 sets to Spitanikov from Texas A&M, but putting up a great second set and really fighting in a match where I believe, and Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was a bit overplayed in that match, but still made it 3 sets.
Yeah, it did a really good job to flip things around and did what she needed to do because, again, Tar Heels won 4 first sets in singles yesterday. That said, they also forced 3 sets everywhere in the 2 sets that they lost, and 2 first sets, that they lost.
Correct.
And Yarligata was part of that effort. She also came off the bench in the first day and 2-0 win.
Yeah.
Just get the Heels.
Solid effort.
Moving, yeah, against the Pepperdine team that pushed them everywhere else.
And of course, that takes a little bit of pressure off the players higher in the lineup, saying, all right, if I need to rest a day, I have one who's more than capable. And of course, Riley Tran just barely dropped the first set 6-4 on court 6. So I would say we have at least 2 other capable players on this team, to say the least.
rare game point chances to hold here on one, belonging to Fiona Crawley. Meanwhile, you see it, Abby Forbes now 6'4", 2-love lead, the All-American, playing some of her best tennis of the event today, closing in on the finish line. You almost wonder, is it the bait and switch? Abby Forbes slow and steady the first 3 days.
I know.
Only to be like, all right, it's time to turn on the Jets here on day 4.
Well, and also, right, the confidence that you get from her last 2 performances. Now she's here on court 4, again, just dominating in the second set so far. Has hardly dropped a point. The number 4 single spot.
So 6-5 Crawley leads on 1. Let's put 4 into the big screen, please. Let's make court number 4 1. Let's just do a flip there. Of course, we're watching Crawley, but right now, again, Abby Forbes chances to consolidate. Make it a 6-4, 3-love lead. Make it 2. I mean, again, the Tar Heels' path to 3 points is abundantly clear.
Yes.
Yarlagadda protects this 6-1, 4-love lead.
Forbes.
That's 2. Excuse me, that's 3. Where's 4? That's the question still. And the real issue now becomes, if you're Georgia, just the pathway to victory has narrowed so significantly. You need Leah Ma here.
You really do. I mean, looking around in the other courts, you really do.
Yeah, first set is now.
And you need Vidmanova to grab the second set and do it quickly.
You're just looking for anything right now because you look up at the scoreboard. If you're Georgia, you're just facing deficits. So many deficits. So I think Ma's got to be the rallying cry. I mean, it seems fairly obvious, obviously, given the scoreboard. But that's where it starts, as you see. Abby Forbes now, 4-love lead. We go back over to court number 1 on the main. Meanwhile, Annika Yarlagadda does indeed make it a 6-1, 5-love lead for the Heels on 5. If you want to swap in courts 2 and 3, West up on the side. Actually, leave 5. Leave 5. Make 4 2, but leave 5, and let's leave 1 on the big screen.
Fiona Crawley looking to close out a 7-5 first set against Leah Ma. Crawley, number 1 player in the nation. Three points away for Crawley. With the chance to grab yet another first set for the Tar Heels.
What a scramble. What an effort. Oh no. Leah Ma's come up hobbling. And she calls for the trainer. Uh-oh. Never something you want to see. And immediately she came up hobbling after that scramble. And so the trainer's been called to court now. 6-5, 30-love. Crawley leads. Let's make court number 5 your main screen now. And we'll put court number 4 in the place of court 5. So I'll watch that number 1 spot. Trainer's been called to court for Leah Ma. She immediately pulled up after that stretch. Immediately pulled up, grabbed her thigh. In particular, seemed to grab the hamstring.
Yeah, again, she's on the bench right now waiting the trainer. Looks like she's in pain.
So we'll keep our eye on that. Right now, if you're a Tar Heel fan, Annika Yarlagadda close to delivering. Once again, Yarlagadda, let's not forget, clinched the National Indoor Final last year. One of the few players to beat Emma Staker of Oklahoma.
Yes.
It was a delightful match.
And again, Staker just has been a standout for Oklahoma. Meanwhile, I feel like we're not really seeing a ton of energy from the Bulldogs right now. They're trying to dig deep. Not a
I mean, how
ton of
can they?
energy.
They're down everywhere.
Right.
Literally everywhere. Gigi, Jeremy LeGrand. Obviously, that 6-4 first set. By the way, now, oh, God. Okay, so Leah Ma's going to have to wait because the Georgia trainer's getting work. Georgia trainer's working on Anya Hurdle's back. Hurdle, medical timeout on 4.
Oh, wow.
So that's what's going on there. West, if you make court 4, court 3. Let's make court 4, court 3. As again, right now we've got medical timeouts for Georgia on courts 1 and 4. That's why Leah Ma's just sitting there waiting for the trainer to come over.
It's tough, and now it's not just
well,
on the court.
Here's also where we have to bring back up. It's day 4.
Yes.
You're only going to play 4 matches consecutively about twice all year, maybe 3 times. If you have a really good conference tournament, really good national indoors, really good NCAAs. Otherwise, the body's just not used to this. And so for all of these players, the physicality that we've emphasized all weekend long, it's just eventually you got to pay that bill. And unfortunately for Georgia, it's come due at perhaps the worst moment. You're hoping Hurdle, Ma, both just find a way, physically summon something. And we'll keep our eye on it. Meanwhile, how about this? Kowalski, heavily taped left shoulder, by the way, for Meg Kowalski these past 2 days.
Right.
She's also looking break point chances to just extend the match.
And again, something else that is tough about that 4th day, right, is if you do go down early, like these Bulldogs have on the singles court, it's tough to get that momentum back.
Shout out to the Georgia trainer, by the way.
Absolutely.
Putting in work right now. I see her sprinting, literally full sprint from 4 on to court number 1. That was a 4-4 40-yard dash. That was actually ridiculous speed.
That was ridiculous
from
speed.
the Georgia trainer. She had to go through a hallway, too.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is because she was treating a player on the left side of our screen, and now in real life, and now she's on the right side.
We're going to go into the basement. It's going to look like a bowling alley.
Yes.
Pins not going after
everything that she ran through to get there.
She gets there, but she's now out on court. And again, play back underway. Abby Forbes, 6-4, 3-love lead on 4. Okay, it's the left hip for Leah Ma. Left hip, left thigh.
It doesn't seem like a cramp. It seems like more of a muscular injury right now.
It's soreness.
Soreness, you think?
It's a day 4 injury. And I don't say that jokingly, but you understand why these players are feeling it. That's a lot of physical tennis this early in the year. And that's why this is the ultimate test. This is your early season, roll out the balls, let's find out who's good, who's not moment.
And again, Alex, if we are going to talk about the difference really quickly between juniors and college, that's one of them, right, is the physicality. Because in juniors, we all play sometimes 3 matches a day, and we're fine. We just wake up the next morning, we're chilling. But it's not like that in college. It changes because both the emotional toll on our bodies, the emotional toll kind of becomes a physical toll, and we're seeing that probably with these girls as well, because the emotional energy that's spent when you're playing with a team on your back, that's different than when you're playing individual tennis.
And for gate court number 1, right now, Tan Gillig has opened up a 7-5 3-love lead at 3. Garlagata, as you see, 6-1 5-1 at 5. Forbes 6-4 3-love at 4. There it is. That's your recipe. Heart of the lineup, which we have said from the start, is what will separate these Tar Heels from everyone else. That's your path. That's if you're at home right now, Tar Heel Nation, there it is. 3, 4, 5. And if you're Georgia, you pray. You beg, dig deep. These athletes are capable of it. They're going to keep scrapping, keep clawing. Again, first national indoor final for this team since 2019. You get wins over Stanford, Oklahoma, Iowa State. They've had themselves a week.
It's a solid path to get here. Solid to say the least, but
no moral victories in college tennis.
Nope.
You're only as good as your last result, is how these coaches and players will feel.
Correct.
As you see, by the way, once again, Dasha Vidmanova. If you thought she was losing in straight, you haven't been tuned in all week. She's got breakpoint chances now for 5-1 in the second set, of course. That match takes on a different feeling, given where we're at on the scoreboard.
Correct. And Vidmanova really starting to step up with that depth, as I said earlier, just pinning Brent Meyer back a little bit. And also Brent Meyer has made a few more unforced this set, so I feel like it's a combination there for Vidmanova to take the lead.
Meanwhile, match point, Yarlagadda.
Wow. Kowalski says not yet. Deuce point here. Again, second match point for Annika Yarlagadda.
Kowalski can again just extend this match. Meanwhile, Abby Forbes just broke for 6-4 for love. Leah Ma is back out on court. She faces 4 set points right now on court number 1. Still walking with a little hobble in her step. West, if you want to make court 3, court 1, just we throw that last first set point up. Leave court 3 as court number 1. Actually, you can put it on the big screen. Meg Kowalski breaks for 5-2. Or excuse me, holds for 5-2 to extend the match. Yarlagadda still another chance to serve for it on 5 when we return. But let's make 5 court number 1. It's set points now for Leah Ma. Once again, Tar Heel Nation closing in on an unprecedented 4th consecutive National Indoor Championship.
And quick note about this match here at the 1 spot. Sometimes it's not the easiest to play after your opponent calls an injury timeout, and that's obviously nothing against Leah Ma, who clearly was in pain. But to keep that momentum going, now we'll see if Crawley can continue, which she has, of course, in this game, but continue to play her game, to play within herself, and not go for too much, knowing that maybe your opponent is not at full range.
Also scoreboard watching.
That's
court 1 and 2, the easiest to do some scoreboard watching. There's a huge camera right over. Meanwhile, if you want to, although it is right now coming up, hold on, set points here for Dasha Vidmanova as she looks to, again, force a 3rd. We'll see how relevant that ultimately becomes.
Leah Ma with the rip.
Yeah.
Now we have a deuce point.
Sure. Meanwhile, you see Vidmanova takes a 6-1 set on 2. Let's make court 2, court 5, please. Yarlagadda serving for the match again. Actually just got overruled. And subsequently hit a big +1 ball for 15 all. Again, it's never easy to get over that finish line, as we're seeing on all sorts of courts here.
And I do feel that we've kind of entered that 3rd act, that Bulldog surge that we're feeling.
No 3rd act. I'm worried today.
You're worried?
I mean, it's got to be now, but Tar Heels are closing the door. You can just feel it in the building.
Yeah.
Unless Kowalski can pull off the impossible here, somehow work her way back, you just worry about the totality of everything adding up, the injuries at 1, at 4.
That is true in terms of if this does somehow become a longer match.
Yeah, if let's be clear, if this match hits 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Georgia's doing something historic.
I agree. Oh my gosh, completely agree. And again, being here and feeling the energy, as Alex said, in the building, I agree with that.
But hey, it starts with this Ma hold. Forces the breaker at 1. Let's switch 1 and 5, please. Switch 1 and 5 as Yarlagadda closes in. Again, can Kowalski survive? Prolong this match. Just again, send a message. We can survive, Georgia fans. Send a message to her Georgia teammate. She's trying after every point. Go Dogs.
Absolutely. And I do like how vocal she has been in this match.
She's been the most vocal.
I agree.
As expected, by the way. The 5th-year leader. Has played in this national indoor final before.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got a match point. Our first of today's singles action. And it belongs to number 12. And number 5 singles player, Monica Yarlagadda.
Yarlagadda with the chance to make it 2-love for the heels over.
Tar Heels. Monica Yarlagadda. 6-1, 6-2, the 2nd year in a row. She puts a big W on the board. And Tar Heel Nation, it might be time to start getting excited. 2-0 overall lead. Let's make court 4 our big screen now. I need us to put, of course, we'll keep our eye on court number 3, Carson Tangillig, who clinched the victory yesterday. 7-5, 4-love lead at the number 3 singles spot. Meanwhile, Fiona Crawley, as you see, our only first set still going. 3-love lead for Crawley in that first set breaker.
And again, quick shout out here to Riley Tran, anchoring down the heels at 6. She's taken a 2-1 lead.
She's played a good match.
Yeah, she's playing a great match.
And let's be clear, there is no Elizabeth Scotty in the lineup for the Tar Heels today. They look just fine.
Oh, Alex, they look more than fine.
Yeah. I think Coach Calvis knows what he's doing.
Right.
It's a bold lineup decision because, again, I was there, 2021. Setting 4-1, 4-love down. Scotty roars back to deliver the 4-3 clinching win over Texas in the indoor final. That was that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
She's only gotten better since, and yet the trust Coach Calvis has in every part of his lineup.
Yes.
Forbes, Tangillig, of course, later down on the lineup, Yarlagadda up to 5. Tran in at 6 today. Again, they've got options.
Yes. That they certainly do.
Meanwhile, it's our job here at the broadcast booth to do these sorts of things. The amount of scoreboard watching for these coaches, that's the big thing as well. Not only do we sense it in the booth, I think they sense it out on court.
I think they sense it out on court.
Every time, every 2 points, they're just peeking up. Are we closer?
Right.
Finish line or otherwise?
And that is the thing, though. I mean, the closer to the finish line you get, the harder it is. So, I mean, if these heels can really...
Can we put court 3 on the big screen? I apologize. This is a massive deuce point here for Carson Tangillig. Again, she wins this one. It's almost a de facto match point, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
7-5, 4-love deuce coming up for Tangillig.
Tangillig just finding a way to stay aggressive this match. I really like that with Riasco, because we did say heading in she's going to need to step into that Riasco rally ball, and she has. There it is, high.
It's brilliant. Carson Tangillig's 1 game away, and we'll put 4 on the big screen now for you. Switch out 3 and 4. Again, Abby Forbes took a 6-4-3 love lead. Anya Hurdle took an extended injury timeout. She's getting her back worked on. Of course, that's the last thing you want, a bad back, playing someone as physical, relentless as Abby Forbes.
Absolutely. I mean, Forbes, I have no doubt, will just make you hit a million balls no matter what day, but especially if she is playing a player, again, who has taken medical timeouts, her experience, Forbes' experience, will really keep her playing within herself out there. And we're seeing that at the 4-single spot.
All right, Hurdle's staying around. Game point chance here. Let's just remain in the fight.
Meanwhile, Reese Brantmeyer on court 2 just take the first game of the third set with a huge overhead.
Yeah, it's a shame that one's not likely not going to have the chance to finish.
Likely.
As again, that's one of the better matchups we saw throughout the course of this weekend. Two players who have every right to think they're the best player in women's college tennis.
I completely agree.
That's one of your takeaways certainly coming out of this weekend.
Quick shout out to this number 2 single spot that we've seen some incredible tennis from these players at the 2 spot.
As you see the deciding point coming up after that brilliant Forbes lob again. Tar Heel Nation.
Getting closer.
Meanwhile, it's match point Tangilla. Can we go split screen on 4 and 5? 3 and 4. Split screen 3 and 4 here. I know Forbes is battling here on the deuce. Actually, Westhoff, just get ready to go full screen 5. It's full screen 3. Get ready to go full screen 3. Oh no, he got us to a split screen even faster. Perfect.
Yep.
Match point for Tangillig. Oh man. All right, Tar Heel Nation. Time to head to the fridge. Whatever's sitting on ice. I don't want to guess the ages of all of these, but if you got that thing on ice waiting, might be time to start defrosting it. Well, she might just be your most outstanding player. Carson Tangillig dropped a tough match. Honestly, her first 2 days, but has bounced back so well. Tangillig, the 3-set clincher yesterday. And now 7-5-6 love. It's 3-0 heels. Abby Forbes, 1 game away from a 4th consecutive national indoor title. Perry Shinen. What a performance so far from the heels.
Not only is there 3 on the board, but I feel like it's just, I mean, the tides have turned. But they were not, I feel like also something that I'm seeing from Abby Forbes right now, at least, is even though she's up, Alex, 5-1 in the second set, that fight that we just saw on your screen to run back that lob, I mean, she cares about every point, and that's what makes her so good for this Tar Heels program.
This is what she came here to do.
And again, we're seeing all the players on courts 1, 5, and 3. The players and their teammates. Everyone is headed to the other side here. Again, on the left side. Here at Nordstrom Tennis Center, we have courts 6, 2, and 4 still in action. All eyes are on these 3 courts. More specifically, all eyes are on Abby Forbes' ace down the tee.
2 points away from reaching the ITA, from clinching the ITA National Indoor Championship.
And Alex, anyone deserves this attention. It's Abby Forbes for her performances this weekend. Sometimes just extending matches out there.
They're 1 point away. North Carolina. Match points for title number 4. Abby Forbes does it. Ace down the team. 4 straight national indoor championships for the North Carolina Tar Heels. This one via a 4-0 victory over the University of Georgia, and Perry Shinen. Not only is it a 4th straight title for this UNC program, but the last time they lost in a final, they were knocked out here in Seattle by this Georgia Bulldog program. A little bit of revenge, certainly, for Coach Kalbus today, but more pressingly for a team that has more expectations on it than perhaps any team in recent college tennis history. What another strong start this is for this North Carolina Tar Heel program.
Alex, they see it, they want it, they like it, they got it. Ariana Grande, 7 rings, 7 indoor national titles for the Tar Heels.
Unprecedented. And again, 9 consecutive finals for this North Carolina program. 4 in a row for Coach Kalbus, 7 overall. And again, tip of the cap to this University of Georgia team. Jeff Wallace, Drake Bernstein, you've got a team on your hands. This will not be the last time we hear from these Georgia Bulldogs on the national stage. They take the doubles point. Maybe, just maybe, everything breaks differently. They had a big lead on one. We're up a break, served for it 5-4, weren't able to get over the finish line there. You know, again, had a 4-all 1540 spot at 3 doubles, weren't able to get over the finish line there. Every time this Tar Heel team had their backs pressed against the wall, they responded. Again, the only team to drop a main draw doubles match, a doubles point, and win the main draw match. I've seen the last 4. I've been fortunate enough to be here. This was the most dominant performance we've seen from a Tar Heel team. Today in particular, this is the most dominant performance I've seen in my last 4 years.
You know what, Alex? I feel like, and you did briefly mention this, you said, I wonder if the singles matches had switched the cadence a little bit had the Bulldogs taken the doubles point. And you know what? I'm not so sure. This was a Carolina match through and through. And I love the way that Tar Heels came out in singles. It was a quick lead on most courts here. Took the first sets and then cruised in the second sets.
And you see the emotion for this Carolina team. The joy on their faces. Winning circle, they've danced. We see, members of the Tar Heel family coming out on court. So again, hugs everywhere for Coach Brian Kalbus. 7 national indoor titles. Of course, look, let's say it. Carolina Nation's thinking it. Are they going to get the big one this year? The one that's eluded them for the past program history. That NCAA championship. Some will never be satisfied until they get it. Those people are fools. 9 straight national indoor finals. 4 straight national indoor titles. This is the definition, Perry Shinen, of a dynasty. We are in the Carolina dynasty era of women's college tennis. And boy, is it a joy to watch.
I mean, it's Carolina's world. Everyone is just living in it. I mean, they're living in it. And also, Carolina playing this match without Elizabeth Scotty. Can we say this one more time? I mean, I feel like we can't say it enough. Elizabeth Scotty, a huge contributor for this team, didn't even play. And again, shout out to Riley Tran looking at the scoreboard. She dropped the first set 6-4. It was 3-all in the second set. She was battling every single Tar Heel here, had a path to victory.
It'll be fascinating, by the way, as we start to think who will be the most outstanding player. What will the all-tournament team look like? a lot of players were really good throughout the course of the weekend. A lot of teams brought their best, but ultimately walks away with the National Indoor Championship. This team has set the standard of what it means to be successful in the indoor portion of the season. Simply put, if you think you have a shot at the national indoor title, you are going to have to run through Chapel Hill and these North Carolina Tar Heels. What a day. What a weekend. What an event. Another phenomenal national team indoor championship in the books. Now, the best part about all this, Perry, we get to do it all again in about 4 days. I will be in Chicago Friday for day number 1, round of 16 action at the National Indoor Championships on the D1 men's side, of course. Then we've got a full season of college tennis ahead still to come. Conference play, NCAAs. It's going to be a fun 2023. With all of that in mind, Perry Shinen, your final reaction, your final thoughts to everything we saw unfold this weekend.
Alex, this season is just beginning for the North Carolina Tar Heels. How can you not be so thrilled for the Tar Heels after a moment like this and knowing that the season is to come? That's what's so magical about this Indoor Nationals, right? I mean, all these teams, the top teams in the country, all gathered here in Seattle, Washington. It's the start of the season. This is the start. These are the first times that these teams are going to be playing with stakes this high. Come May, I mean, are you kidding me? The stakes are 10 times higher. I cannot wait to see how the Tar Heels adapt and continue to evolve as a team after this.
It's going to be fun to watch. And again, before we go, so many people we have to thank for helping to make a broadcast like this possible.
First of all, I have to thank Alex Gruskin.
Yeah.
That's who I want to thank.
That's very kind
for being by my side for these past 4 days. It's been incredible.
It is always a delight. But of course, to Robin Stevenson, the entire University of Washington staff who has made this place home for not just us, but of course, 15 other schools, who came in for the weekend. They have been delightful. This Nordstrom Tennis Center shining as it always does when we come out here in Seattle. A massive thank you to the University of Washington. Thank you to the ITA staff, of course, who helped make this event run. Would not be possible without all of them. And then a thank you to our sponsors, the USTA, Tennis Point, Wilson, US Sports Camp, Sports Interiors, Playsite, California Sports Surfaces, Ground Rule, JMC Lighting, Rolex, and anyone I might have missed. It takes a village to put something like this event on. The older you get, the more you realize it also takes resources, my friend. And a massive thank you to our sponsor for providing those resources so that we can see these student athletes thrive. Last, and certainly but not least, I got to thank you to my colleagues, obviously back in Indianapolis, Dalton Thieneman, Daniel Westoff, who do so much work behind the scenes. I'm the pretty face. Cracked Racquets only runs because those two tolerate my nonsense and can get us from point A to point B better than any two humans I know. We love you. We missed you here in Seattle, but thank you for all you do. And then, of course, for the great Perry Shinen, who it has been an absolute pleasure to be joined by in the booth. Looking forward to doing this hopefully many times to come. But with all that said, for the phenomenal Perry Shinen, our team back in Indy, Westoff and Dalton, and all of us here in Seattle, I am your host, Alex Gruskin. You have been watching the 2023 Division I National Women's Team Indoor Championships, North Carolina, a 4th straight title.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. Opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Out. Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing A-Peak Tennis and A-Peak Coach. Everything tennis players need to become mentally tough, both on and off the court. And everything coaches need to help players reach their full potential. Because we are extremely confident that A-Peak does work, we are offering free 1-month split testing to validate A-Peak's effectiveness when implemented correctly. With split testing, we'll have half your players use A-Peak, while the other half does not. Then, we'll conduct pre- and post-testing to demonstrate A-Peak's value. To take advantage of this offer, email us at apeak@apeak.com.
Tennis. What does it mean to you? Everything? Us too. For fun. For health. For life. Tennis Point. Get the gear your game needs.
So at Oklahoma State, we've always prided ourselves on having one of the premier tennis facilities in the country. One of the aspects that wasn't living up to that was our indoor lighting, and so we partnered with Sports Interiors, who had the reputation of being the best in the business, and they were the easiest for us to work with. Dan and his group came in from day one and gave us a plan that would allow us to have the best lighting. And with us hosting the 2020 NCAA National Championships, that's what we wanted. We wanted to showcase our tennis facility as being one of the best in the country and being a venue that would allow us to host the best championship possible.
Tennis is superb.
Tennis is fire.
Tennis is sick.
Let's go. Tennis can change the world. Come on.
This is tennis too. Good morning.
It's my first time.
Not mine.
It's about time you play tennis like the pros, and now you can. Swing Vision is an app nearer the gods. It uses AI to track your shot speed and placement using just your phone. opponent giving you dodgy line calls? Challenge it instantly right from your wrist. Download Swing Vision for free and bring the Grand Slam experience home.
Adidas Tennis is bringing the fun and flair to the courts in 2023, and you can find the latest Melbourne collection available now at tennis-point.com, your online tennis retailer. Tennis Point. Advantage you.
Introducing A-Peak Tennis and A-Peak Coach. Everything tennis players need to become mentally tough, both on and off the court. And everything coaches need to help players reach their full potential. Because we are extremely confident that A-Peak does work, we are offering free 1-month split testing to validate A-Peak's effectiveness when implemented correctly. With split testing, we'll have half your players use A-Peak, while the other half does not. Then, we'll conduct pre- and post-testing to demonstrate A-Peak's value. To take advantage of this offer, email us at apeak@apeak.com.
Tennis. What does it mean to you?